got the little man, you got the big man, and you got the bigger man.
What's going on, everybody? It's kellennitro coming at you from Nitromaniac TV HQ, hitting you up on another classic Nitros Take Live. This time we're taking a look at WWF Summerslam 1994 in opinion and review. I'd like to also welcome to the show tonight our two co-hosts of the program, the two co-hosts with the most. Mr. TL joins us.
The little man.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. Doing good.
And of course, you know him, you love him, impressionist extraordinaire, and just all around a good guy. Mr. CraigPFraser joins us. Actually, it's his wall.
Oh, no. Oh. I'm on one of those things from Mad Max.
I thought you were on an exercise ball for a second. It's just rolling around.
Those things are terrible for your lumbar.
Oh, yeah, the lower lumbar. Yeah. Yeah. You got to watch those for sure.
Look like
How are
you're
you,
floating
sir?
in space.
I might be.
Yes.
Played a lot of Starfield lately.
Oh, okay. Yeah. How is it?
I enjoy it. It's a video game, and it makes me escape life, which,
That's
as we
awesome.
all know, is a terrible hell. So,
Especially in northern Canada.
Oh, dramatic.
yeah.
Hey, at least your hockey team has some wins on the season. We're just like, ugh. Right now.
They lost to Buffalo tonight, so they got to figure that out.
Yeah,
But,
whatever.
You gotta figure the guy in the Steelers jacket should not be laughing.
Why? Why?
Steelers. I'm going really close to say it, Ty. I'm gonna say it really
It's
close.
kind of creepy, yeah.
Steelers suck. There you go. I said it.
They're better than your Broncos.
Peyton Manning won a Super Bowl with the Broncos.
The Steelers have a dynasty.
Go Seahawks.
Nope. No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
Nope.
This is
Yes, they do.
No.
This is just riveting feeder right here.
You son of a bitch! You take it back.
Strategy tips. Anyway.
That's how you win an argument, kids. You win an argument by just yelling at and pushing and just saying yes or no
Yes.
to agree with your argument and denounce the others, because nothing works quite like ignorance nowadays.
Does that tactic work when you are arguing with, say, a member of the opposite sex over something?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, so
screwed.
that's expert level chess at that point. Yes.
Oh yeah. It's called you don't win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Concede immediately. Yes, that's right. So, anyways, we're going to be live here for the next few hours talking about SummerSlam.
2 hours.
Well, or an hour. I don't know how long we're going to go. We'll riff. Why? What else do you have planned tonight?
Bitch, it's Saturday night. Gotta do something. And with the clock going back an hour, that's an extra hour a weekend.
We get an extra hour to party.
We're time travelers.
Yeah, exactly. We're all sharing is caring this weekend.
What happens if you went to like the timeline, like wherever that is, like the new time zone? If you were like going to go back an hour, but then you jump into like Saskatchewan and you go ahead an hour. So is there a moment where you're frozen in time?
No, you're in, and at that point you're in Lloydminster.
Is that where that is not where the time zone is it?
Well, the Alberta side has Alberta time, and Saskatchewan's side has the Saskatchewan time.
Oh my god!
So
God damn! If you bring up another
on the border in Lloydminster, and you could just be like, "Huh."
If you bring up another Saskatchewan reference, Stone Cold's gonna start drinking.
This has nothing to do with wrestling whatsoever. I'm just amazed. I just blew Craig's mind here with that.
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
so we should probably just dive into the pay-per-view.
Well, yeah, I think that's a great idea for sure. All right. Before we do that, quickly, we got to acknowledge Crown Jewel happened today. Some things happened on the current wrestling landscape. And Mr. TL, Logan Paul is a title holder in WWE. I think that's like the only title change of note from that show.
Yes, it is.
And Cody Rhodes beat Damian Priest.
Yes, he did.
His title, or his quest for the title, I guess.
Give me another match.
LA Knight still looking, or I guess he adds his name to the list of people that Roman Reigns has conquered.
Yes, he did. Another match.
Okay. Rhea Ripley retained.
Yes, she did. Another match.
Io Sky retained, and Kairi Sane is now back in the WWE with and is a buddy of Io's now, apparently.
Yes, she is. Another match.
Okay. That's all I've got.
Seth Rollins and
okay.
McIntyre.
Yeah, so I would assume Seth retained there.
He did.
Yes.
But then Damian Priest is going to cash in. But then Sami Zayn came out and stole his briefcase.
Oh, okay.
So he couldn't cash in.
Wow, there we go.
And then before that, on some kind of free show, Sami Zayn wrestled that guy that's not really in the Judgment Day, but he is.
Oh, JD McDonough.
Sure. Yeah. And Sami Zayn beat him.
Okay, cool.
The crowd was actually quite unhappy because all the bad guys won.
Yeah. Yeah, I was looking at that at the results when they came out later today and that stuff, or earlier today, I should say. And yeah, I was looking at that. I was like, man, that is a heel-heavy show.
Oh, and Solo.
I'm sorry. Saudi Arabia is mad that all the bad guys.
That's a good point. Yeah. That's a good point.
Listen now. You should have seen their faces when Solo Sikoa beat John Cena.
Okay.
That was a big
They were very heartbroken.
Oh, heartbroken.
They were cheering for the heels.
Okay.
No, they weren't cheering for the heels. They were cheering for the good guys, and they kept losing all night.
Right.
Especially after Cena lost. They were like beside themselves, flabbergasted and shocked.
Mm-hmm.
So this was more like Crown Pool. Poo, like poo as in poop, and then hyphen ool. That's my joke.
Yeah.
Not very good. Nobody won. No good guys won.
Shall we get into the classic stuff? Yes. That's what everybody's tuned in for.
Hey, get it? Because there's a pool. And the word poo is in the word, you see. And I just had an L on it, and it rhymes with a jewel.
Thanks, Norm Macdonald.
Norm Macdonald back for the grave. Look at that.
Oh, yeah, everybody. Yeah, and also a jewel could be used as a word that means poo.
I get it, because it meant fecal matter.
Yeah, by fecal matter, I mean digestive waste.
Anyways, folks, we're streaming live on the Nitromaniac TV YouTube channel. We're streaming through the Nitromaniac TV's Wrestling Unlimited Facebook page, through the old freakinitro.com Facebook page. If you're over there as a subscriber or whatever, do feel free to jump over to the Nitromaniac TV Wrestling Unlimited Facebook page, because that's where I'll be posting a lot of my stuff going forward. And on my Twitter as well, or X, whatever we're calling it, at kellennitro. And if you dig this stuff, float a subscribe at tinyurl.com/Nitromaniac TV. We pop on once in a while with these shows, and it is a lot of fun for sure. So I'm excited. I'm also nervous, guys. I'm really nervous too, because I've got some big things in the works here and that stuff, and I got a holiday that I'm planning on taking here over the next week or so that I'm really looking forward to. It's gonna be fun. So, but
you mean Child Labor Day?
No.
That's
What
only
do you mean?
that's only a stat holiday in China.
I guess so. Yes. Considering that's the first I've heard of this. Yes.
Still
So
worth celebrating.
feel free to throw comments on your favorite bits of SummerSlam 94 or questions or whatever as the show continues here. Pause for cough. 1 sec. There we go. I'm also coming off of a cough. So anyways, so this will be very interesting to see how my voice holds up tonight. SummerSlam 1994. Yes, sir. I guess we'll get things started with the Undertaker right now. Ooh, Undertaker! Below is the Nitro Maniac TV Undertaker with all the results and match times from SummerSlam 1994. So we will go now to what has happened on the pay-per-view. So we start with the location. It is August 29th, 1994 at the United Center in Chicago, Illinois. The 11-day-old United Center. Yes, this is one of the first events that building ever held, was a WWF pay-per-view. Pop quiz. How many WWF shows or WWE shows has that venue hosted since?
I'm only going to say one. Because don't they go to the other place in Chicago? Don't
Yeah,
they
the
go
Rosemont
to
Horizon?
They go to the Allstate Center or Rosemont Horizon or whatever you want to call it. All
Rosemont,
the time.
Illinois.
Yeah.
They don't do the United Center, do they?
They do not do the United Center. So this is the only event that WWE has ever done from the United Center.
That's weird.
Yay! I get bonus points.
Which means that All Elite Wrestling has already ran the United Center more times than WWE has in the past.
And never again, ever since they got rid of CM Punk.
Yeah, that's right. Yes. This was a sellout. 23,000 people saw the show live and in person, and it had a buy rate of 390,000 in the US. So
best opening to the show ever.
What, the massive dark room?
No. The Macho Man coming out. And
okay, yes, of course.
Welcoming the show with a live mic going through it was beautiful.
Yeah, it was great. The first wrestler anybody ever sees grace the United Center is Macho Man Randy Savage. He welcomes us. And your play-by-play team for this card is Jerry the King Lawler and Vince McMahon once again, which is the classic mid-90s pairing, of course.
And Jerry Lawler is actually better in this than he is anywhere else in his career, being the heel commentator.
Mm-hmm.
With a lot of good snipes and a lot of good references and a lot of good one-liners.
Yeah.
McMahon is awful as always.
Yes.
Like, just horrendous.
He is a train wreck.
He should have never been a commentator.
It's painfully evident. We'll talk about it when we get to that point, but it's painfully evident in the women's match that Vince is just out of his league at this point.
Yeah. I thought it was the most painfully obvious, well, I guess off the top of the show, but in the main event.
Okay.
Oh my God.
The last match you meant?
Yeah, the main event.
Okay, the main event, the last match. Okay.
I will say I did not like Vince on commentary as usual, but I do think there's one moment that he really absolutely nails. I'll mention it when we get to it. It's at the main event.
Cool.
Really? Excellent. You thought he nailed something in the main event? I thought he fucked the whole thing.
Not all of it, no.
Okay,
not all.
I look forward to this main event now. All right, cool.
Okay.
Well, let's start it off with the top with the Macho Man Randy Savage.
That's right. Yeah, walks out, and it's kind of cool seeing Macho Man in this role, but it's kind of a bittersweet thing too, because it marks Randy Savage's last WWE pay-per-view appearance, because he's not on Survivor Series 1994. And he's gone from the company by the time Royal Rumble 95 takes place. So this is the last time you see Randy Savage in a WWE pay-per-view.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Well, better now than never. Oh, yeah.
The only thing that would have made it better is if, like, in the United Center, Macho Man wouldn't have come out to his own music. He would have come out to, like, Serious by the Alan Parsons Project because it's in Chicago. Just the bow, 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 bow. You know, the announcer, like the
cool.
Chicago Bulls music.
Yeah.
And now,
ladies and gentlemen,
your
and then
starting lineup.
right behind him, because this was his first retirement, just like from the University of North Carolina, and then the fucking Michael Jordan, just like Michael Jordan come out, right from that would have been the best.
Yeah, but then Walter Payton's in the back, like, man, what the fuck I'm going to do now?
Yeah.
We'll
see Walter Payton a little bit later on.
I love sweetness. Yes. But I mean, again, the guy, like, we'll get to it. But
we'll get to it. Yes, exactly. So on the on camera, there's a title change we got to talk about that happened just prior to the show. The night before in Indianapolis at a house show, the Head Shrinkers are no longer your WWF Tag Team Champions going into the show. The titles have been moved to basically the Clique, the team of Diesel and the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels, after those two won the WWF Tag Team titles the night before in Indianapolis, which means this opening contest, which was supposed to be the WWF Tag Team titles on the line, means nothing, because it's just the Head Shrinkers versus the $1 Million team of the $1 Million Corporation of Bam Bam Bigelow and IRS. And Urban Legend has it, I should say, that IRS and Bigelow were supposed to have won the tag team titles at SummerSlam 94.
Meh.
But they moved the titles over to Shawn and Diesel because they wanted to keep that feud in the forefront after what happens later on in the night, and so on and so forth down the road, that they are the tag team champions that are kind of starting to maybe a little fraction at the seams a little bit,
Don't you just love the theme song of the Head Shrinkers?
Don't you just love the new look of Captain Lou, by the way, too?
Oh, wow.
Haggard old Lou.
He looks like the guy that goes to the hedonism swinger resort in Jamaica by himself. He's like, I'm looking for a couple ladies. Who wants to come back to my cabana hut? Yeah, that's good stuff there, ladies.
He's lost a ton of weight here too. It's just the skinny Captain Lou that we see.
Why did the Head Shrinkers need two managers?
I don't know. I think that this was just really an attempt for them to, because they were babyface, and so maybe get, a beloved figure from the past that was cheered, and that they brought Lou in on a 1-year contract so Lou wouldn't go to WCW. Yes, this was the time where they were looking at guys that that WWF and WCW were looking at anybody who had any past wrestling, I guess, notoriety and whatever, and signing them for no apparent reason, right? So
can we do the Head Shrinkers theme? Here, I'll do the drum part and you guys just add in the sound effects, okay?
I can't even remember what it is now.
Oh, and there's a bird going, wah, wah!
Yeah.
Oh, it's just the jungle song.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, fair enough.
Gotcha.
It's all it was.
Samu and Fatu, the Head Shrinkers. Yes.
This was Rikishi before he was Rikishi.
This is Rikishi, yes, before he became Rikishi, yes. Yeah.
That is correct. This is where he came from.
Yeah, exactly. This match runs 7 minutes and 20 seconds. There's not a decision per se. I mean,
yeah, there is.
I mean, there is, but it's not. It's not good, and it's not.
Okay, hold on. Just a minute here. Just a minute.
Okay.
I'm drunk. But Samu and Fatu, for some reason, have two managers. And somehow both of those managers are being outsmarted by the one manager of the $1 Million Man.
Yes.
Which eventually leads to the old who's the old Samoan? Is it Afa?
Yes. Afa getting
in the ring, headbutting one of the other guys, and then getting disqualified, and then they just fight off.
Exactly.
They just get into into a brawl and they fight off.
And it's the loudest the crowd ever gets during this match is when they're fighting to the back.
That being said, though, it's not a bad match. It is kind of weird seeing like how like Jimmy and Jay as the Usos are like all young and athletic and stuff now, and you see like their last generation. They're literally wild Samoans.
Yeah. Yeah, you see the 90s version and you see what they are now. It's like, man, have they come a long way. It's unreal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bam Bam Bigelow.
Good worker.
Is he the perfect big man?
No. In my mind, like, I don't know, maybe I'm biased. I always thought because he is strong and athletic and he's a big guy, like the perfect big man, like everybody says, because he's also very safe, was Kane.
Okay.
Yeah, but Undertaker's just a better version of Kane.
Yeah, but Kane's bigger than the Undertaker, and I think the Undertaker has such a mystique around him that like he's not only a big guy, but he could also he plays that monster heel pretty well.
And see, my argument would be for Vader during this time, but the problem is not enough eyes are on WCW product to really push Vader as the perfect big man.
Yeah, but Vader cuts a promo like Scott Steiner.
A little bit. It's a little. it's a little reckless, yes.
That he can't beat me, so you take my 33rd and a third chance of winning a sacrifice, and you take his 63rd and a 4/5%.
I just how you get Vader time.
Vader time. Good time. Yeah. So that's the opener.
You know, for me, literally was not a bad opener. It's a pretty decent tag team match. It just has a screwy ending with like stupid Samoan managers.
Yes,
this is a right match, and then at the end I was just like, okay, they had a weird false finish disqualification. Ooh, jeez. And then they just kind of fought to the back, and that kind of represents my emotions about this match. Is it was a little bit like I was watching. I was like, okay, all right, I want like this. I got good performers in here, and I was just a little, okay, well,
okay,
number two.
Yeah, it's Betty Bye time. Let's go. Exactly. Yeah.
Well, $1 Million Man got his fingerprints all over this pay-per-view. It was kind of annoying.
He does. They are pushing him big time as a heel power manager right now in WWF. The quick synopsis right now is $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase in 1993 wrestles his last match against Razor Ramon, has a neck injury during that feud with Razor Ramon. That I think the last on-camera appearance we see of him before he comes back as a manager is in a one-on-one contest with Razor Ramon at SummerSlam the year before, in which I think Razor beats Ted DiBiase. And then we don't see him for a while until Ted comes back at the Royal Rumble as a commentator. And then shortly after that, starts buying heel members of the WWF roster because he has started the $1 Million Corporation, which is basically a bunch of power heel, mid and upper card heels that he's building, this faction with going forward into the end of 94 into 95 somewhat.
And what a wasted opportunity by WCW. Let me explain.
Okay.
Because of this gimmick where the $1 Million Man keeps buying up heels, the point of the NWO was to make it look like Vince McMahon was invading the WCW using WWF guys.
Right.
Being Hall, Nash, and Hogan.
Mm-hmm.
Had they done this properly, instead of just having Ted DiBiase join in the NWO as just another member, he could have been the leading member, being, where do you think the millions of dollars are coming from to make this invasion happen? The $1 Million Corporation.
Right.
And where does the $1 Million Corporation come from? Up north. So they missed a golden opportunity to use that gimmick in their favor to have the $1 Million Man be the financial backer of the NWO.
I mean, that makes more logical sense than having them kind of appear out of nowhere to begin with, right? So
exactly.
And I think this, Ty brought up an interesting point about how like DiBiase was all over this pay-per-view is, maybe it wasn't clicking quite right at this time, but I mean, WCW didn't capitalize on anything like that. But basically, Vince McMahon used this as a blueprint to when he started becoming the heel on TV, and really got heat, like good heat, as the bad guy, as the boss, and having the actual corporation, then you have, a beer drinking, saying kind of ass kicker who's going to come through and beat up the boss. And it basically used the blueprint of like a guy basically buying and keeping whoever he wants to be in the top of the company at the top of the company,
Right.
only to be undone by the punky anti-hero that would go on to win the Monday Night Wars.
And funny enough, in all karma, who was the last member of the Money Incorporated? The ringmaster, Steve Austin.
Yep.
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
the last client the $1 Million Man managed in WWF was ringmaster Steve Austin.
Full circle.
Best gimmick he ever had.
One more little tie into the current day with this opener too, of course, is Samu and Fatu, part of the Samoan dynasty, of course, and Afa and the whole deal there, the bloodline, etc. And then IRS is the father of the late great Bray Wyatt and Bo Dallas's dad as well. So
that's right, Mike Rotunda, right?
Mike Rotunda,
yeah.
So there we go. And Ted DiBiase's son would also wrestle for WWE in the late 2000s and early 2010s. So
where's that referee? He was trying to fuck on me.
Yep.
Yes, that Ted DiBiase.
The one and the same. You've got it. You've got it.
Junior there.
Yeah. Uh-huh. You've got it.
Next.
Yeah. All right. Leslie Nielsen.
Next.
No way, man.
Yes.
Leslie Nielsen is
Leslie Nielsen is hot on the trail of the Undertaker.
Like, this segment was bad, but it was bad in the way that, and the only guy that ended up looking good by doing it was Leslie Nielsen.
Yes.
Because he just did it in a total Naked Gun kind of way. And if I may be allowed one anecdote about the time my grandfather met Leslie Nielsen.
Please do.
And so my grandfather always had a signed picture of Leslie Nielsen. It always kind of seemed like a hammy photo of him. It's just like this big kind of smile, like headshot of Leslie Nielsen. And it was signed, said, "Dave, all the best, Leslie Nielsen."
Oh,
and
cool.
my grandfather's name was David. So my grandfather attended a dinner. It was like for some like military honors, because my grandfather was a World War II vet.
Right.
And Leslie Nielsen also was a World War II vet in the Canadian Air Force, I believe.
Oh, cool.
And Leslie Nielsen was at this dinner, and my grandfather met a few of his guys that he remembers from the war days and stuff like that. And one of them was like, "That's Leslie Nielsen over there." And he's like, "Oh yeah, it is." Like, this is back in like this late 60s, early 70s. And they go over, and my grandfather introduces himself, says, "I'm David Fraser. Like, nice to meet you. I love you in your films and stuff like that." And he's like, "Oh, thank you." And he's like, "Would you like an autograph?" And my grandfather's like, "Yeah, sure, man, whatever. No, it sounds great. I'll get an autograph." And he just reaches into his jacket pocket and has photos of himself with his jacket. He just had it on him, and he just signed it. He's like, "There you go."
That's how you market yourself.
Oh,
That's the bottom line.
He was crying because he's like, and he didn't go around hinting at people, but like anytime somebody came up to him, was like kind of like, he's like, "Would you like an autograph?" He just like reached into his jacket. He just had him on him. Awesome. I was like, what a guy.
Yeah.
So that was great. That was a great story.
So
okay, legit, if I was ever a hockey player, I would walk around with a stack of my own hockey cards in my pocket and have them pre-autographed.
Here you go.
Yeah, can I have an autograph? Here you go, kid.
Yeah.
Like
Here, have another one. Have two.
He was such a nice guy. He was such a great dude the whole night. But like, it's just so funny that he thought, he's like, people might recognize me.
That is outstanding.
So, how do you like your Leslie Nielsen? Do you like airplane era nice Leslie Nielsen, or are you a Naked Gun era Leslie Nielsen?
Oh man, both are fantastic. I personally, just because my memories, I watched Airplane a lot, and I mean that movie is so stupid in a good way.
Awesome,
and
it's a great show.
Just like, good luck. We're all counting on you. Just like, fuck, sir. Fuck, cockpit. Surely you can't be serious. I am serious. Don't call me Shirley.
Don't call me Shirley.
So many good moments in that movie.
Is he in Hot Shots Part 2 or is he a parody in that movie?
Hot
I don't know.
Shots. I'm trying to
He's in Scary Movie. I know he's in Scary Movie 4.
Yeah. He's in Men with Brooms.
Yeah.
Yes. Lloyd Bridges. No. Looking at it.
I swear in Hot Shots he's either in it or there's a parody of him. I don't know.
He's not in it. It doesn't look like it, but there might be
the big man's moving. He's on the move, people.
Oh, did he leave? I have the IMDb. IMDb for Hot Shots Part 2 up on the thing. And
all right, let's go back to wrestling. Never mind.
Okay,
it's not important.
There we go. It's not important. Exactly. But we will pay a visit periodically throughout the night to both Leslie and his cohort, George Kennedy, who was the other old feller that was walking around with him as they look for the Undertaker throughout the evening. So.
Yeah, you guys can go back to that. I don't give a damn.
Yeah, it was just like, I'm like, this isn't needed. It's like, and of all the characters to do a comic bit segment about, it's not the Undertaker.
If you're watching the Coliseum video version of this show, you go immediately from this to Razor Ramon's dressing room, where the bad guy claimed that Diesel and Shawn Michaels had ripped him off by taking his Intercontinental Championship. Razor told the Coliseum video cameras that NFL Hall of Famer Walter Payton would be in his corner to counter Shawn Michaels and help Razor reclaim the title. That's on the Coliseum video version. We are watching the WWE Network as it aired on pay-per-view type version.
Yes, and that did not appear on there, I don't think.
Yes, no, it did not. Instead, we go right into our next contest, which is the WWF World Women's Championship. Bull Nakano with Luna Vachon versus the champion Alundra Blaze, Medusa, and Bull, bringing All Japan Pro Wrestling women's action to the United States in 1994. Fuck yes. Love this match. This match was awesome from the get-go. This was one of my favorite matches on the card. What's the runtime on this thing? It is 8 minutes and 10 seconds. And yeah, it's incredible. The only issue I have with this contest is the wrong announcers are calling this. Because, as I said off the top, it's painfully evident that Vince is in over his head by calling this. There are so many what-of maneuvers in this contest that you could start a drinking game with it. If
you'd be dead.
Yeah, you would. You would make the rest of the show. That's it. I would have loved to have had JR and Gorilla come down from WWF Radio and call this match myself, in the hindsight, to see this. And WWF Radio was a thing at this time, where JR and Gorilla were doing play-by-play and color commentary for WWF pay-per-view on the radio. And so there different cities would have different licenses and that stuff to carry WWF pay-per-views.
What a stupid idea.
I was going to say, you could have had JR and King both.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, could have the magic formula years ahead of time instead of goddamn Vince McMahon.
Sometimes you got to tinker with things to get that magic formula. It doesn't come right away sometimes.
What a maneuver!
Yep. What a maneuver. Over and over again.
Well, it wouldn't have been much better with Gorilla Monsoon. Right in the kisser!
He's got him up! He's coming down!
Would you look at the kisser on that one?
Get a size of that ham hock!
That was Roddy
Piper.
Is that Roddy Piper? Oh,
that's Piper.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And that's the debut of the Undertaker.
Yeah.
The size of that ham hock. Which, by the way, I don't know, maybe it's like a weird prairie Canadian thing, but I remember, because Piper's from Saskatchewan again, and we're going back to Saskatchewan. But I mean, when I worked at Home Depot, we had this like old cowboy dude come in, and we were like throwing sidewalk blocks into his truck for him, and it was me and my buddy Dustin, who's like really skinny. But then he looked at me because I was throwing like 1 or 2 bricks in at a time. And he looked at me and he turns to my buddy. He kind of slaps my buddy. He goes like, "Look at this guy here. This guy here looks like he can throw a brick like a half hog." I was like, what? And he was just like, yeah, he talks like a half a hog. I'm like, half a hog? What?
Half
like,
a hog.
Like half a pig? Like, what are you talking about? Like a butchered pig? This is weird. Half a hog.
Ding, 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 ding.
I was like, it baffled me to this day.
There's the imperial system, there's the metric system, and there's the hog system.
He was looking at you, trying to size you up for a meat suit, is what it was.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, he's gonna start throwing lotion at me.
Exactly. Put the lotion on your skin.
Yeah,
it's gonna be good eating tonight. But anyways, sling blades. Yes, as we talked about in the WrestleFest 95 review we did, Alundra Blaze bringing sling blades into WWF vogue and popular nomenclature a good 20 years before Finn Balor. So hey, there we go.
There you
go. That's true.
Unreal.
The only thing I'm gonna say about this match, by the way, you're overhyped as hell for this match because, like,
I loved it. I love this match. This was good.
It's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, it's just it's a decent match. It's not a crazy good match. I'm not going back for this one.
Yeah,
I thought
because I have to show something from the match. There we go.
Also, notice that. Oh, sorry. I was gonna say. I also noticed that for some reason, Bull Nakano came out to the same music as the Orient Express.
Yep. Yeah.
So they just kind of recycle all.
They just recycled the music. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
But it was a good match. The only difference I saw really is like comparing from now with the women's division to back then when there isn't one. It's just two, I don't know, fringe wrestlers. They work the hair a lot. Sometimes you work at different body parts. You work an injury, you work a knee, you work the leg. They work the hair.
Yeah.
Whereas hair pulls and hair tosses. And I'm like, you don't see that much anymore.
Yeah.
They've come a long ways from that because that was the only thing that separated the girls from the guys is that they would pull hair or throw the opponent by their hair and do the hair swing. That's what I'm talking about. Modern day women's wrestling kills this era.
It does. But you can see the genesis of modern day women's wrestling in this match a little bit. You can see that where it's this is the crawling out of the primordial ooze a little bit, you know.
Sorta. I just found is that there's maybe like a handful of good women's wrestlers in the world, and the WWF only had 2 to show. So they just pulled them out and put them on a card every now and then.
Did the WWF have 2 or did they have 1? Because Bull Nakano does not have a WWF women's contract at this point. She's just being booked in to wrestle this one match against Alundra Blaze. Alundra Blaze has a WWF contract at this point, but Bull Nakano, Aja Kong, a whole myriad of All Japan Pro Wrestling women's wrestlers would come over in 94 and in early 95 to wrestle matches with the WWF. The problem is that none of them were under contract. These were all one-night booking type deals to get them North American exposure and that stuff. The only one that had a contract to the WWF was Alundra Blaze.
Yeah, there you go. They only had 1 good women's wrestler, and they just needed to get her an opponent in time for a once-in-a-while pay-per-view or match.
Exactly, yeah.
Was Wendy Richter around at this time, or was this before?
No.
She's
gone.
No.
She's so gone.
Leilani Kai, who was Wendy Richter's opponent at WrestleMania 1, was still under I guess,
she was
her contract with WWF just expired at WrestleMania 10, so she wrestled her last match at WrestleMania 10 for WWF, and so that's the closest 6 degrees separation than Wendy Richter we got. But yeah, no, Wendy Richter is still on the outs with WWF at this point because of the whole Spider Lady incident in 86. I think it was.
That was 87. Okay, that was before
87. Okay. Yeah, the screw job of Moolah. Yeah,
right. Yeah, that was.
Yeah, so there we go. So, but again, I love this match. This is one of my favorite matches on the card. I thought it was great. The finish for this thing was Bull attempts what I have labeled the Japan Jam rather than the Alabama Jam, the top rope leg drop. Nice. And it fails, and it allows Alundra to nail a German suplex for the 1-2-3.
Mr. Craig, any thoughts?
Pause for cough.
It was yeah, no, like I mean, like I thought that this match had a good pace. I mean, I think that Bull Nakano, can throw Alundra Blaze around like half a hog, and I don't know. Like I thought it was a good match. I mean, I think Lundra took the title. Obviously, they're not going to put the title on someone who's coming in for a one-off. But I mean, had maybe Bull things been different, had women's wrestling been more prolific as it is now than it was back then, maybe Bull would have taken this one and it would have set something up great for a Survivor Series match or something. But I think the way they did it based on the circumstances, because that's a lot of the thing with these matches too, and even matches even now, guys. I think you could argue that depending on what kind of situation it is, in terms of contracts, in terms of somebody's not willing to do the job or something, you might end up not getting what could be with something. I mean, that was why we got denied Flair Hogan for so long, and then when it did kind of happen, it was like, yeah. And so, like, it's just kind of like one of those things that just, it's unfortunate that it couldn't have been better, but I think still the match that we got was good.
Yeah, no, I'm with you 100% with that for sure. Moving on. Todd Pettengill. By the way, this was Todd during the pre-show, showing the importance of the goofy blue cage that we'll see a little bit later on, apparently. So there we go. But Todd Pettengill is in the back. He has Diesel and HBK, the new tag champs. Diesel is also the IC champ. He's got Razor Ramon tonight, and they cut a promo basically say that they're going to assert dominance over the World Wrestling Federation. So
I need to know where Shawn Michaels thought the idea of what cool is. Like,
what, you don't think that's cool?
No, it's not cool. What the hell is he wearing? It's a zebra print, with this hat from the 80s and these little glasses from I don't know what.
Don't forget the chaps.
This is the chaps
era,
the heart medallion in the front. I'm like, what the hell is this? And him talking like, hey, daddy, coolie man. Look, what the fuck are you doing?
Ty, I think you're just being a little jealous, maybe, perhaps, of my talent as the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels.
Okay.
the eye wasn't lazy back then, so you could just do him straight too, which is great.
It's just the worst. Like, the more I look at Shawn Michaels in the past, the more I have questions. Like, what the hell is this? Why did he think or anybody think this was cool?
That was the thing I saw in that. There's that video on YouTube about like wrestling isn't real or wrestling isn't wrestling or something. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah, wrestling isn't wrestling. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a part where they're talking about Shawn Michaels. And they're like, who's Shawn Michaels? And they're like, he's this weird male stripper guy that dudes just love for some reason. It makes no sense.
It doesn't make sense.
Nope. Sure doesn't.
He's wearing shit from the 80s while talking 70s jive. I'm like, what is this supposed to be? Why does anybody like this?
Well, this is more. It's about 70-30. That's about 70% on the performer, and also 30% on the creative he had at the time too, because somebody's feeding him his lines and that stuff, and I just don't think they knew what the Heartbreak Kid was then.
I think I know exactly why this was so cool. Why it worked.
Okay,
so well.
Please explain. For
the
love of God,
he's just a sexy boy. Sexy boy. I'm not your boy toy. Boy toy. I'm just a sexy boy.
Shut up!
I imagine when he was in the studio, he had to have his, I'm just a sexy boy. Sexy boy. Not your boy toy. Boy toy.
The second volume of WWF The Music, Volume 2, the one that came out after Full Metal, the album, which had Sexy Boy on it, has a version of Sexy Boy, but it's being sung by Vince McMahon.
Why?
No,
I will send you guys that in the chat later on, and you guys can check it out.
Do not have my permission, good sir.
Oh, I will.
Never send me.
I am going to drop it. That version will be dropped.
I don't want to hear it.
I need to hear that.
See, you're overruled already. Fraser wants to hear it.
Too bad it's happening.
Yep, it's happening. So
I don't want this.
We jump to our next contest, which is the aforementioned Intercontinental Championship contest. Diesel, the Intercontinental Champion with the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, taking on Razor Ramon with NFL legend Walter Payton in his corner.
What a weird combo. What a
I forgot that
fucking-
this was hotness. Yeah.
And Walter comes out there like, what the fuck is going on? He's just got the least confident look I've ever seen of anybody walk out to a ring. It was hysterical.
Well, and here's the thing, like Sweetness, like, I mean, he was always a very stoic guy, right? And with wrestling, I mean, that's the thing is like, you know, Sweetness is, you know, like obviously a huge name, huge draw. People love Walter Payton, greatest running back of all time, arguably, you know, and you get, you know, you get him out there, but it's like you might have wanted to go with a guy like Mike Singletary, you know, also a big name.
Right.
Put Mike Ditka out there, maybe even with him, at least a guy that's got a little bit more charisma, because Sweetness has the moves, he had the attitude, he was like, this was like a man's man, a total, like, this is who you'd want to emulate in the way he was on and off the field, right?
Yes.
But it's just like, if you're looking for Sweetness to be like dynamic and expressive and like,
you don't get that. No.
If you ever watch like highlight reels of like Mike Singletary, that's why I brought him up. It's like there's this one clip. It's like, because like that Bears defense, I think is 85. Was that the Super Bowl 20?
Yes, the Super Bowl shuffle guys.
Yeah. And like Mike Singletary talking trash when he was at linebacker. It's amazing. Like there was one. I think they're playing Washington, and Mike Singletary's just standing there, hands on his hips. He's just like, hey baby, we'll be here all day. We'll be here all day. And he's like, I like this kind of party. Just like, just the way he's and like his eyes are going, and he's just like,
Yeah.
he was like before he had Ray Lewis, Mike Singletary.
Is he on all of the cocaine at that point? Is that what?
Well, I can't. That's speculative. I don't know. But I mean, like, he had the one thing Mike Singletary had was he would talk trash. He had charisma. And like what that's what you would want at ringside. Like, I mean, if you were gonna get like a guy to go at ringside, like quarterbacks edition, like I don't know if you'd want Joe Montana. Like it's Joe Montana, but he was Joe Cool. That was Joe Chill. Like he had ice water in his veins. He wasn't very expressive. But if you got a guy like Brett Favre, he's just walking, you know, yokel that just wants to be like, oh, throw a football real far or something like that, or get a guy like Stabler. You know, he had that Raider swagger or something like that going on. You know, maybe a little Aikman action. You know, a little bit more dynamic.
Exactly.
But
you want the characters.
Yes,
you do. You want Chad Johnson. You want Terrell Owens.
I want Terrell Owens, not Jerry Rice.
Yeah.
Yes, Terrell Owens, not Jerry Rice.
I want Marshawn Lynch and Richard Sherman. You know,
I love Marshawn Lynch. I love Marshawn Lynch. He's so awesome. Yeah. And Sherman too. You know,
why not?
You ever talk about me again, Richard Crabtree?
The best score in the game. He's just fired up, and they like, put a microphone in his face. He just doesn't quit. I love it. But
Aaron Andrews is just holding the mic like
Sherman cut a shoot promo right there.
He did.
That was a shoot promo.
That's what it was. It was.
And you know what his mama was doing in the back? Oh, Sherman.
Yikes.
So anyways, this match was pretty good though. To see Razor versus Diesel was pretty. Why did Diesel still have the truck as his theme song?
Because this is still Bodyguard Diesel-ish at this point. So it's still no blues at this point. It's just
Why would they just keep playing that over and over and over? I was like,
this theme song. It's the same thing that happened at the Survivor Series we watched.
Yeah, that is horrible. Like people in the stands are probably going like, I'm going to be hearing this truck horn in my sleep. Like, somebody please turn this off.
Right, exactly.
But man, Razor Ramon and his peak is right here.
Yeah,
and all the swag.
Yes,
and all the machismo and
he could go
and everything.
And it's popular nomenclature that with this contest, Scott Hall laid out everything, and Kevin Nash just kind of followed along.
Of course, Kevin Nash is a fucking bum.
Because I was going to put it more eloquent than you said, but okay.
I said it and I meant it. He's a fucking bum. He doesn't know shit about anything. He's been wrong in every take he's ever given on any podcast and interview. to this day. To
Wow.
this day.
Wow.
He's always on Botchamania giving some take that
He is,
usually
yes.
seems
And he's
counter-
always wrong.
Yeah.
he's
He's always wrong because his perspective is wrong because he didn't give a shit back then. And in retrospect, he has nothing good or new to say now.
Mhm.
The fucking dumbass.
Well, this, like I said, it was it's popular nomenclature and that stuff that Scott Hall did worked with not only Kevin Nash but Shawn Michaels, I should say, to lay the match out and that stuff and everything like that. And they just basically just told Walter Payton, what to do day of. It sounds like when he showed up, there was no real, But you just watch Walter during the show, and basically, what does he do? He just chases Michaels around the ring a few times.
Yo, the King had the best line of the night in that match.
Yeah.
Now go and do what you do best, Walter. Run.
Yep. Yeah. So the finish for this thing at 15 at the 15-minute mark.
I was just saying, but just thinking of that too, it's just like because King does yell that at Walter Payton, but it's just like there's just something off about a guy from Tennessee to yell "Run, boy!"
He didn't say "run, boy." He did not say "run, boy."
It was implied.
Yikes.
It was not. He's telling the running back to do what you do best, and that's run away.
Run away.
That was a hilarious line.
It was pretty good.
Wow.
Jeez.
That's unreal.
All you needed was that fire back of being, will you stop? Didn't happen.
Yeah,
Didn't hear it.
Didn't hear it back.
So the finish for this thing at the 15-minute mark is a super kick by HBK, falls Diesel after Payton and HBK have a tug of war over the belt, and it allows Razor to cover for the 1-2 freeze.
That kick was not super.
Okay.
He kicked him in the belly and then lifted his knee a little higher to try and get it some height, and it didn't quite make it, and Nash just fell backwards.
That's funny.
That was the worst super kick I've seen Shawn Michaels ever deliver.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what happened. It was this Shawn Michaels trying to interfere the entire match, Walter Payton running and chasing him around, then the referee getting involved because he's an idiot, and then Walter Payton finally pulling Shawn Michaels out of the ring in time so Razor could get the pin.
Yep.
And that was the match. And it was a good match.
It was.
It was a lot of shenanigans going on. Crowd was hot for that match.
Oh, they were. Yes.
And they went crazy when Razor won the belt. So, I mean, good stuff there. It's just, yeah.
Who got the louder pops in 94 at this point, do you think? Razor or Bret?
Bret.
Okay.
In this pay-per-view, absolutely Bret.
Yes. Yeah.
But like Razor's right next to him.
Mm.
The fact that they didn't get to run a program for a championship, or for the championship, man, what a wasted.
Would have been awesome. Would have been awesome. There's your title match right there.
Yep, this should have been
the Survivor Series champion versus champion. Probably could have been the next event. Maybe
that could have been awesome. Yeah, you book Razor with the IC strap versus Bret with the world strap, and have at it. The
problem was they were both good guys at the time.
That's right. One of them would have had to turn heel.
But Razor could have easily turned back to heel. All you have to do is do the same shit, but just do it to the wrong person.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. Throw the. It would have been as simple as throwing the toothpick into Stu Hart's face at a show or something.
Or simple as
side with Owen.
Side with Owen, yeah.
Side with Owen, right. or side with Shawn and kick Diesel out.
Yeah.
Now you've got Diesel as a good guy and Razor as a bad guy.
Exactly.
So many. Jeez, where the hell were we? Why were we children during this?
I was 3.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What not everybody knows is that Fraser started growing his beard the day after this pay-per-view.
I was a kindergartner with a beard.
That's right. There we go. He's basically Silent Bob in the corner. Yes, fun with Randy Savage next as the camera's next cut to our host of sorts, the Macho Man Randy Savage. He's clearly having fun. Randy claimed that HBK would be in trouble once Diesel caught up with him. Then handed it back to Vince. And yeah, it's we're not sure what the point of that was. But
congratulations to the new Intercontinental Champion. Oh yeah, that's right. The Razor
he's very
Ramon.
shiny. The way.
Oh yeah, that was a great get up. The black and gold. Woo!
Yeah,
styling and profiling, baby.
Very shiny, very, very Macho Man, peak Macho Man at this point. Absolutely. So, if you're watching the Coliseum video version of this, we get individual reactions from both Diesel and Michaels. Big Daddy Cool threw his tag team championship belt on the floor and claimed it was a pittance compared to the IC title. He then blasted Shawn before changing his mind about the tag title. So verbally blasted him. That didn't go in and level him or anything like that. Picking his belt back up off the floor and saying, "At least I still have this." In response, Michael blamed Peyton and promised to get Diesel another title shot.
I'm sorry, a giant man saying pittance is.
Yeah, I wonder who wrote that.
I don't know.
Well, Lord Alfred, I think, is still with WWF until like the fall of that year. So maybe he was writing all the Coliseum video exclusives. Who knows?
Well, it's like that. It reminds me of like the same thing. Big guy yelling pittance. It's like, what was it, that story that Wade Barrett told about when they were in the gym with like Brock Lesnar came in, and then there was like this like nerdy kind of kid. He was just like following Brock around all the time. And
right.
Brock came back to the change room where they were all because they were finishing up, and then Brock was just like, "This fucking kid just keeps following me around," and he just like walks to the stall, and then like the kid kind of comes around the corner and walks down, and they didn't stop him, and there's like he's like, "Are you trying to look at my penis?" And it's just like, you thought like Brock would be like, "Look at my dick" or "Look at my cock" or whatever, but it's just, "Are you trying to look at my penis?"
Oh, well, with that, we now advance to the hot question of 1994. No, not did OJ do it. No. Not did Bill Clinton have sexual relations with that intern. I think that was the year after, but I can't remember. I think that was the 95 thing, or 96 thing. Yeah. So it's, did Lex sell out?
Hey man, as a kid, this is the most important question ever.
In another backstage promo with our buddy Todd Pettengill, Lex Luger and I almost said Tatanka.
Tatanka was his name.
Tatanka discussed the results of a WWF hotline opinion poll.
Bruh.
In which 50% of the fans apparently believed that Luger had sold out to the $1 Million Man.
Mm-hmm.
Remember,
I was one of them.
Telephone polling.
Yep. I didn't have the phone number, but I was one of them. I was a big fan of Tatanka when I was a kid, and then this storyline came up, and then when we saw it happen at the end of this match, little me was so heartbroken. And I still hated Lex because he was an awful wrestler. So it's like, this is just lose all around.
It was crushing. Also, what is up with Tatanka's hair here? It's like not at the front anymore. It's kind of just taking off.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
Why don't you worry about your own hair? Don't worry about his hair.
I mean, I don't have much to worry about, but
yeah, there you go. Don't worry about his hair.
It's his hair. Yeah, there we go. And probably the best piece of mic work Tatanka ever did during his WWF run. We've got the Native American reamed Luger. Well, yeah, he opens up into Luger, tears him a new one, basically told him to fess up, and then promised to kick his red, white, and blue ass when they met in the ring. Yeah, this was thinking back to first time I seen this as a kid and that stuff. Yeah, this was like jaw-dropping stuff because it's like, man, Tatanka's getting fired up. Luger's got to be turning heel at this point, right? So they, kudos to them at this point for having everybody duped, because it is what happens. It's a dupe job.
Had me duped.
Yeah. So yeah, and the next match is the one-on-one singles match, which we think is with two faces. Well, two faces going in: Lex Luger versus Tatanka. And this thing runs, what's the run time for this one? 6 minutes and 2 seconds.
And I'll spoil it for everybody because it's not important. But
Well,
I
I was gonna just roll out the finish quick.
all right.
Okay. Ted DiBiase pops back out again. He walks out with a bag of money, distracts Luger, and Tatanka rolls him up for 1, 2, 3. Okay, go ahead.
I'm still mad about that shit.
You still are?
I'm still mad about that shit.
Okay.
Ruined Tatanka's whole career. He never recovered from this.
Well, post-match, Luger kicks the money out of Ted's hand, and Tatanka beats the hell out of Luger. And yes, Tatanka has joined the $1 Million Corporation at this point. He was the one that was going to turn and not
the
Luger.
second or third appearance now of the $1 Million Man of this pay-per-view.
This is the second appearance of the $1 Million Man on this pay-per-view.
Son of a bitch.
They're building the $1 Million Corporation brick by brick, it seems. They have IRS. They have Bam Bam Bigelow. They now have Tatanka.
A faction that never fully formed and altogether sucked.
No. That's another thing. It adds what? King Kong Bundy and Nikolai Volkov, and that's it.
I have a different perspective on this match because I didn't watch this as a kid. I didn't have that same kind of setup that you had.
Yes.
So when Tatanka's giving it to him in the backstage, and then DiBiase came out, I was just like, well, clearly Tatanka's in it. Like, I was like, this is such a setup. Like, the acting's so terrible.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, the match, I think, Tatanka's carrying this match. Like, Luger is not a great wrestler. I think he was a bodybuilder that, became a wrestler and was like, a not successful Batista, basically. It's
wow.
Do you like do you like the piped in USA chants in Luger's music that they've added at the beginning?
You're almost like setting up Luger to fail. Like, you could have a guy that's more limited like this be more of a big push and like have like a better run. Like, I mean, case in point, Hulk Hogan, but I mean, like,
you could, who he was supposed to be, yes.
Yeah, exactly. And it just like, I don't know, like like, not only does it make Tatanka look bad, and now he's in the corporation and it kind of limits him, but it's just like, you make Luger look like a goof.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, oh man.
Yeah, low-key, how the hell was Lex Luger successful in WCW/NWA?
Okay, so he was successful for two reasons. Number one was when they first initially turned him face after he split from the Four Horsemen in '87. This was what fans wanted to see down there. They wanted to see Luger versus Flair, and Flair was such a hated heel at the time. They wanted to see Luger, this new upstart, this phenom Luger kick the shit out of Ric Flair. So that was just that's what they built 1988 around, was Luger basically becoming close to the guy, even though he doesn't get the payoff of being world champion. That, that's basically the majority of the year, right?
Okay, wait. But at the same time, they still had a very young Sting who was actually talented in the ring.
Yes.
And I know Sting and Luger were a good tag team. Well, they're a popular tag team for that time.
Yeah.
But Lex Luger always sucked. So how the hell did he get by?
Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
That's what I asked.
That's all on who was booking at the time, what they wanted their upper cards to be like, so on and so forth, right?
I'm going to completely redo that Rock promo now, just based on all this information of Lex Luger. He just goes, God, my name's Lex, and I just got signed from NWA. But there's just one problem. Everybody thinks that I absolutely suck.
Yeah. Well done.
Yes.
Good remix.
Very much well done, indeed. Like I said, run time for that.
And then the heavens opened up. God himself looked down and said, Booger? But my name's Luger. It doesn't matter what your name is.
Are you ready for another Mabel match?
Yo, the Mabel entrance though.
The Mabel entrance is dope. Yes,
The
we have
crowd,
Jeff
the hands
Jarrett
in the
versus
air and
Mabel
going, hey ho, and whoop, there it is, and all that shit.
with Oscar. Yes. The reason being that we have this contest between Jeff Jarrett versus Mabel, it was not supposed to be Jeff Jarrett versus Mabel. As I take a look at this, there we go. Jeff Jarrett actually was supposed to face Doink the Clown at
Oh, good
SummerSlam '94.
Lord.
They had actually built a little bit of a program for this, not Mabel.
Who
However,
cares?
there was yes, Mabel admitted in a 2009 shoot interview that Doink was the original opponent for Jarrett at SummerSlam, but would be swapped out for himself not too long before the event. Though he never really elaborated to why. Perhaps Vince McMahon just wanted a prominent place to showcase his young behemoth, which might have been the case. Exactly. And don't forget, this wasn't the Matt Bourne era Doink. This was the Ray Apollo era Doink at this point. Matt Bourne had been dumped out of the company by this point. So
Ray Apollo doink.
yes.
Matt Bourne doink. Oh, it doesn't matter what kind of doink. It's a piece of trash.
But
so
anyways,
much happier with Mabel because you know what? It's the complete antithesis of the reaction that Jeff Jarrett gets.
Yeah.
You hear those fucking violins. And he comes out to the ring with his stupid, titty slip, whatever that is, tank top coming out there. And he's just the worst. Always was and still is.
I mean, yeah.
Jeff Jarrett is just the fucking worst. And then Mabel comes out and he's got like the craziest entrance and the crowd's actually into it. And I'm like, hey, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. That crowd popped for him big time.
And at the end of the day, the same old thing. 1, 2, 3.
Exactly. We get a victory for Jeff Jarrett over the man that would challenge Diesel for the WWF title in a year's time. Jeff Jarrett wins in what's the run time again? It was a 5 something, was it not? Yes, it was 5:45. So just I think exactly what the credit to Watt Culture for getting that information out there on what had happened with Doink being subbed out and Mabel subbed in. I think it's because they had this monster behemoth and his tag partner was hurt at the time too, so there was no men on a mission going on, so you had to get him on the card somehow.
A wrestling clown's a shitty idea.
Well, it's supposed to, Doink was loosely based on Krusty the Clown, right?
I thought he was based on it.
No, it was what had happened was they had just signed Matt Bourne back into WWF and he was doing some job stuff and whatever. And Road Warrior Hawk of the Legion of Doom saw Matt Bourne sitting in a dressing room smoking a cigarette, and his hair was kind of long and kind of frumped down and that stuff and whatever. And Hawk said to Animal, and I think Pat Patterson overheard him say it and that stuff is, hey, that guy looks like Krusty the Clown.
No. Hawk doesn't speak. He yells.
Yeah, he yells basically, hey, that guy looks like Krusty.
That guy looks like Krusty.
Yeah.
And somehow that drugged up idea from that druggy man turned into Doink the Clown.
The whole idea of Doink being an evil clown was Matt Bourne turning it into a heel character because he had success in past promotions as a heel. So,
and 1 month later,
yeah.
Actually, I believe Hawk was actually quoted as saying when he saw Matt Bourne sitting there, as "What a clown!" and then they turned him into a clown.
Oh, yeah, that could have been your Luna Vachon from earlier for the women's match.
Leave him alone. I'm Luna.
Yeah, exactly.
Bull's gonna beat you with underblades.
Which surprisingly is not a match I don't think they had during that. We never got a Lunger Blaze versus Luna at all, which sucks. So.
That would have been a good match.
It would have been a great match.
Why are you so good at the Luna Vachon?
Shut up, Tyler. I'm gonna rip you apart.
Because she's basically Megatron from the 80s cartoons.
Yes.
Oh my god!
Just a higher pitch Megatron. Because this is Frank Welker's Megatron is prime. I am Megatron. And then you pitch that up a little bit, and it's
Luna the Shan.
Oh my god! I'm dying here.
All right, we roll back to the Super Sleuths in the backstage. In case we didn't get enough Leslie Nielsen, here's more Leslie Nielsen for you. We have Vince. He tells us that that our SummerSlam Super Sleuths, which is their official way to get around a Naked Gun the trademark basically. We're in the crowd looking for the Undertaker. Cut to George Kennedy and Leslie Nielsen in the entranceway, and then all of a sudden, an image of the Undertaker shows up behind him. The curtain comes up, and it's the Undertaker. He's standing there, and the crowd saying, "Turn around, turn around, turn around." And they're like, "What are you talking about? We don't know." They finally turn around, and the Undertaker's not there. And they're like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah, the silhouette of the Undertaker has disappeared.
Yeah. Well, next, indeed.
Actually,
sure.
That's the only time where they actually come out in front of the crowd, correct?
Yeah.
The
They
rest
get a
of
little
it
bit
is
of
all-
a pop from the crowd. The crowd gives them a nice warm welcome. So,
Oh, yeah, because the entire time, those are basically just taped vignettes.
yes.
So this is the only time they ever saw them live.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. The wrestling what is it? Wrestling urban legend of the Leslie Nielsen pre-tape spots for this and that stuff is that everything leading up to SummerSlam they had shot earlier, but all the stuff that they shot that ran during SummerSlam was shot earlier in the day because I think they only had Leslie Nielsen and George Kennedy for like 24 hours or something like that. So
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Next.
yes, this is what constitutes a celebrity cameo in 1994. So we go to Todd Pettengill, who gives us another recap of the feud between Owen and his brother Bret, the WWF champion. Remember when Owen kicked his Bret's leg out of his leg?
Yes.
Times.
That's why I kicked your leg right out of your leg.
Yeah.
That was the greatest little promo after the match I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm. They take forever to build this fucking cage.
They really did, huh? And there's no music going on. There's nothing like
Nothing.
I would have hated to have paid a ticket to any of these live events back in the day before there was music and segments and things for the crowd to do.
Mm-hmm. So Vince McMahon takes the mic to kill some time and goes over to Stu and Helen Hart to interview them prior to the match.
I just love how Stu looks like he has no fucking idea what's going on. Like he's sitting there and he's just kind of like,
oh, but he knows exactly what's happening.
Stu Hart, you know exactly why your boys are fighting, don't you?
and then he's just like,
Yeah.
Well, you know, I put Bret in the, put him in the hole like this.
Yeah, sure, right.
tap out right there, and then I did the.
Like that. That's what you get him tap out.
Thank you.
There's a little too less tigers in there. You gotta drop the word tiger in there a couple times. Yeah.
Tigers.
Tiger. Yeah. So that's
an East Coast thing, eh?
Yeah. Tigers. Yeah.
Tigers.
Yeah.
We had a secretary at school. Look at Stu. He just doesn't even know where he is. But it's just like we had
comatose. Yeah.
Yeah. One of our secretaries, she was from Nova Scotia, and we were the St. Mark's Tigers. That was our school junior high. And so,
but and she had a voice like this. So she would do the announcements at lunch. Remember, the junior volleyball teams are gonna have to meet in the gym after school. Go Tigers.
Turn off the announcements. It was so funny because that was how she always ended it was
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
No Tigers.
Go Tigers.
You know what's hilarious? I just realized I think I have a formula-ish that Craig, you could do the Stu Hart accent. You have to, you cross that lady you just had there with the announcements, like that accent.
There.
Cross that with Bob Dylan.
Beggars there.
Holy shit, it works! It works!
And Stu Hart, and I'm sorry to put him in a chokehold like that.
Who does that remind me of? That reminds me of somebody. Oh,
Hopefully Stu Hart.
no, it's like somebody famous. It's almost like Andy Warhol a little bit.
Andy Warhol.
If you ever get a chance, they bring Andy Warhol in to for the hype for WrestleMania 1, and Mean Gene has an interview with Andy Warhol. This is like months before he passes away because Andy Warhol dies in 1985, like months after WrestleMania. Yeah. And so he comes in. It's just it's a spectacle. It's amazing. It's far out.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Can I just say something? Because I was in New York and when we went to the Metropolitan Museum or whatever, the Metropolitan Museum of Art or whatever, the Met or whatever, we saw all the Andy Warhol paintings. I don't fucking get it. It's a soup can. He took a picture of himself 10 times and put different colored filters on it. It was Instagram shit. 16-year-old girls were doing that.
It was, yes. Yeah. Well, somebody had to do it first. He was the first guy to do it. So.
No, I don't know. Okay. I saw the Jackson Pollocks were in there. Those were pretty impressive.
Yes.
Like all the textures and everything. I was like, wow, those are nice piece of art. But Warhol, I was just like, I don't get it. No, I don't get it. You know what? I missed out on going to the Balto statue in Central Park.
Oh,
that shit. So I'm a little.
That statue's pretty cool.
Ty's mad about Tatanka's career getting ruined by this match on this pay-per-view. I'm mad about missing out on Balto because of looking at Andy Warhol's soup cans.
No.
Tatanka was a phenomenal wrestler. He had a lot of charisma. They killed him with a gimmick.
Killed him.
All right. Well,
we're at
Jerry Lawler.
Yes.
Lawler did yelled at Stu and Helen before interviewing the British Bulldog, who said that the family feud started at SummerSlam 92 and would hopefully end tonight. Yes, the British Bulldog is to set up the mind's eye here for everybody. Stu and Helen are on one side of the aisle. The British Bulldog's on the other side of the aisle. And they're just sitting there, right? But they got ringside seats. In fact, in the opening where Macho Man comes down and he's high-fiving people and that stuff at the very beginning of the show, he high-fives the Bulldog and they like, yeah, brother, stuff like that.
Yeah, the whole Hart family is basically there on that side of the aisle with the British Bulldog and actually Anvil, who's one seat back.
Yeah.
Who's the only one cheering for Owen. And then you got Helen and Stu on the other side.
Yeah. So
charisma, boy.
It has this here too. So the announcers didn't consider interviewing Bruce Hart, but instead ignore Bruce to speak to Jim the Anvil Neidhart, who had been in Owen's corner since King of the Ring in '94. A few months prior, he helps Owen Hart win the King of the Ring tournament. And Bruce finally does get a word in, and he blamed the Anvil for breaking up the family. And it's an awkward piece of, but they're stalling for time at this point. They're just because something can't hook up correctly on the cage or whatever, right? So
yeah, the only thing could have made it more awkward is if like Stu Hart like stuck his head in between the interview and like knocked his head against the microphone, just like, what are you guys talking about back here?
I like how you depict this cartoon version of Stu Hart that didn't exist, but it's this like alternate reality version of him. That he's a old curmudgeon with with no awareness. He has no spatial awareness. He has no purpose. He's just this old nothing.
I find that all the Hart kids basically have cartoon-esque type qualities to them.
Yeah, but I know, but Fraser's here. It's just, it's not really at all Stu Hart, but it's a really funny version of him.
It's an exaggerated, made-up version.
Yeah,
of
it is. And those are the best versions of.
It's like his alter ego that he never had.
See, if I ever got onto Saturday Night Live, one of my characters I would have pitched to Lorne Michaels, and it would have made no sense because it would at the time is I want to play a senile Stu Hart, and like it would have pissed off all the Hart family. I would have been getting angry tweets from Natalia, probably just like stop making fun of my grandpa. I don't give a shit. Because it would have been like, who's Bill Hader did that interviewer that has like the microphone, he just like shoves it in people's faces or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes it's going up somebody's nose or whatever.
Yeah. And like Will Ferrell did an extremely exaggerated version of Harry Carey from the old Chicago Cubs.
Hi, everybody.
Wow, there's a murder. What's happening? Like,
would you hate the moon if it was made out of ribs?
But if you take that version of Harry Carey that Will Ferrell did, and you watch like some of Harry Carey's, final stand-ups from WGN from some of those Cubs broadcasts and stuff like that, it's not far off. I mean, like it's pretty spot on, complete with the near blindness he had and the freaking Coke rimmed glasses and everything and the whole deal. Right?
Hey, wait a second. Didn't Bill Hader also do an Al Pacino impression?
Oh,
yeah. So yes, but that whole impression was the fact that like Al Pacino's always impressed by his surroundings.
Wow.
Yes. Oh wow.
Oh wow.
We've got everybody here. We've got
you
lights.
guys see this? Wow.
Oh wow. We've got a cameraman over here.
Wow.
He's got lights. He's got gaffet. Oh wow. Would you look at that?
You're gonna look at the guy next to you. You're looking into his eyes.
Any given Sunday.
Guy who will go that inch with you.
Yes.
Nice.
Exactly.
I can't do it for you.
Yo, okay. Super tangent as we've delayed as much as putting up this cage in between this match. But rewatching Any Given Sunday many years later, that movie sucks.
Oh,
really? Okay.
It's jarring. It's filmed weird. It's directed weird. It would have been just fine if they didn't go with the 90s bullshit niche kind of artsy fartsy kind of
direction
that they went with it.
I feel you.
But holy crap, does that movie suck when you watch it now?
Okay. I'll take your word for it. Yeah.
Not even Jamie Foxx is good in it.
Yeah, Willie Beeman's good, but I mean, like the art there, like just okay. What we should do it as a watch along, but seriously, go back and watch the movie now, and you'll be like, "Wow, this isn't what I remember." And holy shit, is this jarring and weird?
Well, we'll do a dude's night in, and we'll check that out one night or something like that. I mean, like, dude, when's dude's evening? It's December 28th, right? So
there you go.
What the hell is that?
My football coach put on that when we were going to our city championship game. When we ended up winning the game and we won the cities that year.
Nice.
But he put on that speech before we got on the bus. So when we were all like sitting there and you're like watching it, and it's just like you gotta look at that next to you. Look into his eyes. And there's this one part where they cut to this one actor. He's this linebacker, is this black dude. He's just jacked up. He's got like the huge like eye black on his face. Like
isn't that Lawrence Taylor?
It might be LT.
It might be LT, yeah.
And he's he cuts him and he's got like tears in his eyes.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. I'm saying, rewatch that movie now. It's ridiculous moments like that.
Yeah.
And either way, hail now. That's a team.
As a team.
As an individual.
Yeah,
that's
right.
Nice.
So, what are you gonna do?
Say hello to my little friend.
What?
Mr.
And
Pacino,
cut. Al, you're doing it again.
He's doing it again. Yeah, exactly.
Well, they could have got Robert De Niro for that movie too, because that would have been like, you gotta look at the guy, look at the guy next to you, look into his eyes. You find the guy will go that inch with you.
Hey,
Craig, he's a crow.
No,
there's a crow.
I can't do it for you. You got me boxed in.
can't do it for you, Boston. I'm too old.
All right, back. We're gonna take
cage is up now.
turn it 720 degrees and bring it back on here.
You know, as you live life, you start to lose things.
The World Wrestling Federation Championship match. We got
You gotta look at the guy next to you. You gotta look into his eyes. You gotta figure it out. Where are you gonna?
That's the fucking difference between winning and losing.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Between living and dying.
Okay, never mind. There we go.
Yeah, we're gonna get going here.
Yeah, okay.
They've kind of erected the cage twice with the amount of time. So, but it takes a long time, folks. There we go. The World Wrestling Federation Championship match is up next. The champion, Bret the Hitman Hart, versus the King of Hearts, Owen Hart. This is a steel cage match, but remember, this is a WWF steel cage match. So the way to win is to escape the cage, i.e. over the top or through the door, and you are the WWF champion. The runtime for this one is 32:22. It's generally regarded as one of the best steel cage matches the WWF has ever produced. My concern with this match is, why does it need a cage? This is a match that you can take the cage out of it and it would be as good of, if not maybe better, than the WrestleMania 10 match.
Yeah, I mean, I think I think that having the stipulation of only escaping the cage is the way to win. Like, have this been maybe like a modern day cage match where you can get pinfalls, you can submit.
Yeah.
Because I felt the thing for me is, I guess you're right. Why do they need the cage? But the thing for me is like, it kept kind of going back to the same spot of like near escape, near escape, near escape, near escape, near escape. You can only do that so many times before you kind of lull the audience a bit.
Right.
I mean, the performances of both guys when they were in the ring and even doing some of these attempts, it's masterful. Like, I mean, obviously they're brothers. They loved each other. Contrary to the storyline, they had a great relationship, and it shows the chemistry they have in the ring here. You know, this is like me and my brother, you know, if we were to go at it in the cage or something like that, you know, like we would want to, like, we'd have absolute so much trust and confidence in each other. And that's like, you would wish that you have two wrestlers on your roster that have that kind of chemistry.
Yes.
You know, and so that it's great. But I think the only thing that kind of maybe drops it a little bit in my mind is the stipulation of how the cage runs at that time.
Yes.
If he would have given it maybe a Hell in a Cell rules or modern cage rules, like, I think you could have had a little bit better spots and maybe a bit more of an exciting match. But overall, very good match.
Remember, WCW at the time are using the proper, we'll call it in air quotes, the proper cage rules of pinfall and submission.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And if you escape the cage, you're disqualified.
Oh,
yes.
Okay. I didn't know
that's,
that.
That's the main difference. Yeah. In WWF at that time, to win a match, you have to escape the cage. In WCW at that time, it's only pinfall and submission. If you escape the cage, you're disqualified.
So given the stipulations at the time, I think this match would have been much better if they would have had WCW rules.
Oh, miles. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yes. So the whole point of this cage match is that there is no more interference.
Mm-hmm.
That Owen can't blame anybody that's with Bret for coming in and screwing over Owen.
Right.
And Owen can't use Neidhart or anybody else to jump in the ring and beat up Bret. That's why it's a cage match.
Mm-hmm.
However, you guys are correct that the WWF, that stipulation it's kind of stupid that you put two people in a cage so there's no interference, but the way to win the match is to escape the cage.
Yes.
It's
I'll tell you the backstory behind that. Why that is like that.
Quickly.
Okay. So the first steel cage main event on Saturday night's main event back in 1986 was Hulk Hogan versus Paul Mr. Wonderful Orndorff. And they were looking for a way to showcase a steel cage match on network television, but without blood. And so that was the compromise they came up with was, well, let's have the winner be the first person to escape the cage. Now, the finish for that one was a photo finish with both Orndorff and Hogan hitting the ground at the same time.
Okay. Now, you are correct. The WCW version is basically Hell in the Cell with no roof, where go at it and beat each other up within the cage and use the cage walls as a weapon.
Right.
Okay. All that being said, to me, This is the greatest cage match of all time.
It's good.
It is the greatest cage match of all time.
It's good with the stipulation. My concern is, or my issue with it is the stipulation. That's it.
And that's fine, but working within the parameters of what it is,
of what they got, yeah,
it's
top 5.
Absolutely, it's the greatest cage match of all time.
Yeah, it's up there. Yeah.
Craig saying that them pulling and jostling for who gets out of the cage one too many times. I mean, that is the match, and they work it to a T. They work it to a T in this match, and they pull the crowd in every single time. The crowd is biting every single time on these near finishes, hook, line, and sinker, whether it's going over the top or whether it's going through the door. This match, the pace kept moving. It kept going. It did not feel like 30 minutes. It felt like a 15-minute match.
It did.
And it was action. This is the best cage match I've ever seen, because usually cage matches are kind of a little dick tease. You know what I mean?
I hear you.
It's always some kind of bullshit going on. And now it's like somebody interferes by breaking into the cage or slamming the cage door in the guy's head so the other guy can get out. And like,
or in later years, they'd throw somebody through the cage. You know, like the actual cage swings out and that stuff and whatever.
Well, that happened with the Stone Cold Steve Austin at St. Valentine's Day Massacre, with the Big Show's first appearance ever in the WWF, blah, 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 blah. Cage matches usually suck, and what people really want to watch is Hell in the Cell.
Yeah.
But because of that, this is the best cage match ever.
Oh, yeah.
The only one, just unbiased, I mean, the only one I would put above this one, the only cage match that I personally enjoyed more above this one was Edge versus Kurt Angle.
Okay.
Did Kurt Angle do the spot where he jumps from the top or he moonsaults from off there?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a SmackDown one.
Yeah. This is match of the card for me. Like, this is
30
minutes. This is awesome. This is match of the card, match of the night, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
I give it 4.5 stars.
You know, and it's a classic one. It's good. It's something you can revisit, and that's a.
Everybody go back and watch and try to prove me wrong. I still feel it's the greatest cage match of all time.
So the finish of this thing, just basically, it's just to summarize it, is following 30 plus minutes of incredible action. Both men climbed over the cage to the outside and continued to brawl. The challenger, Owen Hart, got his foot caught in the bars of the steel cage, allowing the champion to drop to the outside to retain the title. Your winner and still champ, Bret the Hitman Hart. Now, post-match. This is when the shenanigans are afoot here.
This is where it goes way too long.
Yes. Jim Neidhart leaps over the barricade and clobbers Davey Boy Smith from behind, effectively knocking both the Bulldog and Diana over the guardrail.
That's right.
So both hubby and wife get knocked over.
Yep.
The Anvil attacked his former Hart Foundation partner, Bret the Hitman Hart, throwing him back into the cage, where Owen and the Anvil continued their assault. Owen laying a beatdown on Bret as Jim saws off a bunch of rescue attempts by various members of the Hart family. Yeah, so all of the kids are trying to crawl into the cage at this point. And then eventually it takes a returning Davey Boy Smith to put an end to things, fighting his way into the cage and coming to the Hitman's aid. And then backstage, Todd Pettengill chases after Owen and the Anvil. Both men are irate at the outcome. Owen was angry at the British Bulldog, and Anvil, of course, is his former partner, the Hitman. And this continues. However, this was designed to be the blow-off of the feud. Both Owen and Bret wanted this match to be the last salvo here. It was agreed upon, both of them, that Bret would continue the title reign and that stuff, and that they would move Owen on to other faces, because they've basically established him as an upper card heel at this point, going into 94 and into 95, which they kind of do with the Shawn Michaels thing a little bit later on, but that's, still months away from now at this point.
You could have done Owen Razor.
Yeah. Owen Razor, because of the way the King of the Ring ended. Yep, absolutely. Because that's your King of the Ring final in 94 was Owen and Razor. Yep, definitely. Over the Intercontinental title at that time? Huh. Come on, man. Awesome. That'd be great.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that would be great. But
I used to love Owen's outbursts. Like when Pettingill's trying to catch up with him, he just said, I don't know you nothing.
And that's where we get the infamous Royal Rumble 1994. I kicked your leg out of your leg.
Yes.
Because he's exasperated. He's just
yes.
That's it.
Mr. Owen, I'd just like to get a word from you. Just want to get a. Why did you do that? I don't owe you nothing.
Exactly. All right. Unfortunately, folks, that's the high point of the pay-per-view right there, because we got one more match left. And oh boy, holy wrestle crap, Batman. It's Undertaker versus Undertaker.
Yeah.
We have the Undertaker with Paul Bearer versus the Undertaker with the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, because everybody has a price for the $1 Million Man, including death, apparently.
Yes. All right, can we just jump to what's wrong with this match, or what are we going to do here?
I'll give the runtime. It's 8:57, and
how long were the fucking entrances?
Longer than the match.
That must have been at least 20 minutes.
So,
but you need spectacle for the Undertaker. You need spectacle entrances. The light in the urn, that was great.
That was cool. Yes. The summoning with the light of the urn. That the kind of
good
the
Lord, how long did that take?
So
I go into the back. The lights are off. It's Paul Bearer walking down the ring. He's old in the urn. Oh, yeah. His fat ass takes forever to get inside of the ring. He finally uncorks that son bitch, and it's a spotlight. And after 20 goddamn minutes of the Undertaker's theme going on and on for the second time, because this is now the Undertaker's second entrance, finally the figure shows up in the silhouette in the shadow. He walks towards the light. It's the real Undertaker. Is he wearing purple? Who the fuck is this? Is this the real Undertaker? Because he's wearing purple. I don't remember the Undertaker wearing no purple. Maybe it's the other guy. No, he ain't the real Undertaker because he's smaller. But he wearing gray, but he with the $1 Million Man. What is going on, McMahon? And that's my rant.
Well, it's a ruse. That's what's happening. So it's pretty much known at this point in that stuff who played the fake Undertaker. It's primetime Brian Lee from Smoky Mountain Wrestling. This was his first WWF pay-per-view appearance, and this was his only WWF pay-per-view appearance as a main eventer. He would later become Chains of DOA and show up in 1997 again and that stuff as the leader of the bike gang that was with the Harris twins and Paul Ellering and that stuff and so forth a little bit later on. But this was basically the whole genesis of this was Undertaker was ready to return from I think we talked about the hiatus of the Undertaker back in the Survivor Series 94 show. So he's ready to return from that. And you know, folks, go back and listen to the Survivor Series 1994 show. Well, I go into it in some detail. So there we go. But he's ready to come back, and they are kind of futzing around over what sort of angle they want to give the Undertaker on this return and stuff like that. And they're trying to establish at the same time the $1 Million Man, like we said, as this giant, heel conglomerate, going forward into the fall. But you need baby faces to fight with the heels. Somehow this came out, and it is pure wrestle crap. It's one of Wrestle Crap's top 10 angles of all time from WrestleCrap.com. And it's up there with the it's up there with the
fake Diesel,
the fake Diesel, fake Razor, Shockmaster, of that ilk, basically. And it's of the same era too.
I want to know, why is fake Sting not part of this?
Fake Sting
was a fake Sting, and that was stupid.
It was, but not as stupid as this.
I think it's equally as dumb.
Fake
Sting in the NWO was the stupidest shit to me.
Because you could kind of see with the fake Sting, the NWO being a bunch of dicks just fucking with the WCW guys. With that.
Literally, Eric Bischoff saw this go down and said, "Hey, fake Sting.
That's a great idea. Let's do it. Yeah. Why not?"
That's why he's a moron.
Yeah. Brian Lee apparently had a month to basically watch and talk to Mark Calloway and figure out his moveset. So that's why the moves look very stiff and very rigid in there. It's because he couldn't replicate the moveset of the Undertaker. Who can?
They weren't bad. I think you did a good fake Undertaker.
It's a little robotic at times, but
nah, I think it was all right. I think you're being a little mean.
But then, but then, you know, the Undertaker is supposed to be the WWF's version of Michael Myers, right? So, you know, sitting up and you know, so yeah, it certainly is something.
Here's the thing: the crowd loved the entrances, which took fucking forever.
Yes.
As soon as the entrances are done and the bell rings, they have to realize, oh no, we have to watch this now. And McMahon himself, wow, the crowd is shocked. They don't know what to make of this.
I love the description that RetroProWrestling.com had for this. And I quote, the crowd were effectively silent for most of the bout, when Vince McMahon on commentary claimed was due to them being stunned at the appearance of two Undertakers. They barely came to life when the dead man put his clone away with 3 tombstone pile drivers and stuffed him into the casket. Your winner, The Undertaker, the real one.
And again, if we go back to my childhood a little bit, the reason this didn't work is because it was never established that the gray Undertaker was the fake one and that the purple Undertaker was the real one.
It was
they
just
they needed a gimmick in there to prove that that's the fake one. And it really doesn't help that he changed his color to purple.
I would have had Ted DiBiase's Undertaker basically, you know, during the match and that stuff, all of a sudden break character a little bit and ask Ted for 100 or something like that, and have Ted just pay him off. That's it. I would
have done a wig spot.
Oh, where Taker rips off the, and it's like, that's not him.
Where they take off the thing. That's not the Undertaker. That's not the Undertaker. Something like
that would have made it better. That would have made it. That would not have made it better. That's like a Scooby-Doo shit. Like, he ripped his rig off, and he's just like, "Oh,
you're right.
That's not the Undertaker."
No, but they didn't. But they needed something along those lines to show that's not the Undertaker.
Yeah,
they didn't do that the entire match. And the crowd had no idea because from a distance and without a screen. I mean, they had the nice new United Center scoreboard, but I mean, without any real, you know, good shot to look at it, they do look like kind of the same thing.
Yeah, but
all you know is one is wearing gray, which is what he's always worn, and one's wearing purple. And how are you supposed to know which is which?
Well, did you also notice that the Undertaker unveiled new music in this one?
Yes. Yeah, this is the reworked entrance music for the Undertaker. Yeah,
this was like the first, because I had, when I was a kid, one of the only WWE DVDs I had was the Undertaker Rest in Peace, which was like a bunch of different Undertaker pay-per-view matches. It had the one with Yokozuna. It had the one where he fought was it Quang when he did the Green Mist. And it had it had this one, Undertaker versus Undertaker. And some of the commentary on this one was one of the things that they tried to do, and obviously it didn't work on Ty, was the thing they tried to do was that with the new music and a little bit of a different sound, that this was supposed to be like, oh, that's the Undertaker. And that was my one thing where I was saying at the beginning of this, where I said the one call I really liked of McMahon is when you finally saw the real Undertaker come out, and it only works because of the crowd reaction. So you can, I mean, McMahon is not good on commentary in this pay-per-view. We've established that. But the one call that actually sounds good to me is when you see the real when you see Mark Calloway Undertaker come through the blue smoke after the big show with Paul Bearer. And yes, it takes very long, but it's building drama, it's building, you know, anticipation. And when the crowd pops, and they pop when you see him coming out of the smoke, and when you have that call from McMahon, though, oh God, that's the Undertaker. That is an amazing call. I don't care what you say. That's a great call.
That's an awful call.
I know it's a great call.
Terrible.
It's a great call, Ty.
I almost wonder if they were poking fun at the Chicago Bulls a little bit with that, because don't forget Chicago, the Bulls at the time, because they were moving from the stadium over to the United Center. But they were using Sirius and the dark music and the laser show and stuff like that for their starting lineups, and they had the guys run out and that stuff and the whole thing. And not a lot of NBA teams were doing that with their starting lineups at the time and anything. So I think a lot of people saw that and thought that, hey, that's a uniquely Chicago thing.
No.
And so maybe they were poking fun at it some way, maybe? I don't know.
No! Were people supposed to think that, wait a second. Were they supposed to think the silhouette was Scottie Pippen? What are you talking about?
That's Michael Jordan. Oh, no. That can't be a top guy. It has to be somebody like, that's Tony Kukoc.
I don't know. I'm just supposing.
What? No. First of all, the WWE has been doing crazy entrances forever, especially with The Undertaker.
Yeah.
And for them to do the Chicago Bulls thing, it would have to been way more of a smoke machine and laser lights.
Well, I mean, we had smoke.
Where was the laser lights?
There wasn't any laser.
And what kind of poke fun
there
is
was
that?
a giant light in the middle of a urn with, Paul Bearer on a medicine ball going, whoa.
Undertaker should have just come out to Sirius by Alan Parsons Project.
That would have been awesome, yes.
That's the Undertaker.
That's a horrible call. That is such a bad call by McMahon, because it's exactly like the time when Kane came out for the first time and goes, "That's gotta be Kane! That's gotta be Kane!" It's awful.
What makes a good call though? Is it the delivery, or is it how it's remembered?
It's in the delivery. It's the fact that he runs the show and writes the show.
Well, he was one of the writers of the show back then. Yeah.
So when he's telling you, that's the real Undertaker, there's no element of surprise, like how the King is reacting to it.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, too, people didn't realize that he was the owner of the company at that time.
Yeah, only the real insider fans would have known that at the time and that stuff. I mean, I as a kid growing up at that age and that stuff, I thought he was just okay. He's there.
Exactly.
Ron Phillips, or he's there,
right?
Howard Cosell, or he's the announcer dude,
right? But and him just being the announcer dude, he should have been more shocked and more surprised and more not in the know. He's supposed to be in the dark along with King as to what's going on
under 2023 standards. Yes, I agree.
Well, yeah, he's supposed to be reacting to what happens.
Yeah.
He's not supposed to be feeding you the lines like your.
But he does react to it. Before he says that, he does the oh god, like there is a huge reaction that he does before he says that. I don't know. I stand by it. I think it's a great call.
Terrible call.
I'm not saying
terrible.
I'm not
By
saying
the way,
he was.
I think the call. I think the call is okay. I don't think it's an all timer, but I think it's.
I'm not saying it's the greatest call of all time. I just said it's a great call. I thought it was
awful. For me, it's awful because it comes across as somebody who's in the know as to what's going on, as opposed to someone who's actually reacting to what's happening.
Okay.
He's trying to tell the viewer this is the real Undertaker. He's not reacting the way that King is. They're being like, is that the real one or is that the real one?
But you have to do that sometimes when you have to kind of guide the people into it.
Yeah. No,
like, take it from somebody who runs a LARP where we have to on every game. Hold on a second. It's not pro wrestling, but you have to guide players into the plot that's happening in a game. I'm not going to go on a 20-minute rant about LARP. I'm just saying that, but you do kind of have to go, like when somebody comes up, you kind of have to hype something up. When you have to go like we had a certain character who's like he was a very dark, character, and people might not be catching on that that's what's happening, and we can only set it up as good as we can. And then one of us saying like you all need to run right now, like that sometimes gets that. It's a setup piece that helps push the narrative of it. That sometimes it's just a part of the storytelling. I'm not saying that it's the greatest call of all time. I'm not saying that it ranks up there with, oh, he killed him, it broke him in half, God is my witness, he's dead, or whatever. like it's not up there with that. But it's a
what makes that call what it is. That is Jim Ross's legit reaction to seeing a man fall from the top of a cell into the table below.
But he
That
knew
is the man who really thought Mick Foley just died live on pay-per-view in front of his eyes.
Well, he also realized that Mick wasn't hurt after.
Well,
And
yeah.
Not hurt.
I don't know about that. Not mortally hurt, yes.
Not mortally hurt. Not
No.
mortally hurt.
But that is
No,
a
he knew
man
he-
reacting. The point of the commentator is to react. This is not LARPing. This is supposed to be at this
Wrestling is
time,
LARP.
and actually what it should be.
Wrestling is
Listen to
LARP.
me. Listen to me. Listen to me. In
Wrestling is
terms
LARP.
of the
There's a
broadcasting,
t-shirt idea right there.
this is supposed to be done like sports.
No, it's not.
When you watch, yes, it is. When you watch hockey, the commentators aren't leading you in to what's about to happen.
Because hockey games aren't scripted.
Okay, very, very true, right? Wrestling is scripted, correct. It's not supposed to look and feel scripted. It's supposed to look and feel like a sport, especially in these days.
Because we're talking about an undead wizard coming back from the dead.
He's not an undead wizard.
He's an undead wizard.
He's not an undead wizard.
He could go in the ring with the lights dark, and then a lightning strike is heard, and then the lights come up, and he's gone. Where did he go?
Gone. That's it.
Magic wizard.
So
it's not a magic wizard.
So
the point is, they're supposed to be doing the broadcasting like sports, where they are reacting to what's going on and relaying that information to the fans. They're not the ones supposed to be doing the selling. The selling's supposed to be done by the two men in the ring.
But having what I thought sounded like a genuine, like, oh God, reaction is, I think, a good call. I think it's a good call. I'm not saying
it's disingenuous. It's not off the cuff. It's just McMahon being an idiot as he always is, because he can't be a good commentator.
I don't know.
mean, you could totally take this idea and put it towards LARP too, if you wanted to. Craig, you can just have, your Dark Knight disappears for a while, and then the next Dark Knight shows up with like a rich nobleman claiming to have brought back the Dark Knight with money, and all of a sudden out of nowhere.
Wrestling is LARP.
But it's not supposed to be presented as LARP.
But it is LARP. What is LARP then?
Is there an audience?
So
is there an audience?
Yes.
What audience? Who's watching?
The people playing the game are watching. Typically.
They're participating.
They're participating and watching.
Yeah, it's that's the best part of it.
You do both things at the same time.
Yeah,
it's live action, which wrestling is.
Yes,
and it's role play.
I get what he's saying, TL. I'm sorry. I dig with what he's saying here.
That's my only point. We're saying the same thing, Ty. You
are paying to play improv with each other,
and you're paying a ticket to go watch wrestling.
That's right.
You're paying.
What are you talking about?
You're paying for a ticket.
That is not the same. That is not equivalent. What are you talking about?
You're paying to witness and participate. The audience doesn't participate in a wrestling show. I mean, you're not in the ring, but you can't say the wrestling fans can't start chanting.
When we all went to AEW in July, we all paid for a ticket. We all grabbed.
Are we role playing as fans, or are we fans?
No, we are.
I was yelling.
Thank you.
I was yelling bonesaw at the guys in the ring.
Okay. Right. So wait, you went role playing as a wrestling fan? Or you went as a wrestling fan?
See, that's the whole thing. Could you be a real fan, or could you be
differences? But I'm talking about wrestlers. Wrestlers are playing a role, and it's live action.
It's a free country. You can do what you want.
It's not really live action because you're not improving what's being scripted.
The wrestling is happening live in front of you.
The act of wrestling, sure. Not the story. Not the storylines. Not the setup. That's all been scripted. And the winners.
LARP is also scripted. We go into it with a set storyline.
To recap, folks, this entire discussion emanated from this match, by the way.
Which, by the way, this discussion is more exciting than what happened in that ring.
Yes.
Yes.
And that's why we've continued with this. But no, it is not live action role play.
Yes, it is.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
I have to side with Craig here. It's a version of it. I could see.
And that's what's wrong with wrestling today, you bastards. It's supposed to be presented as a sport, not a goddamn live action role play.
Is it still real to you? Damn it!
Yeah, it's supposed to be.
No, it's not. It's an undead wizard man fighting another undead wizard man. to find out who's the real undead
Nobody
wizard.
said this was a good idea.
And there's somebody in the stands that's like, this has to be like a sport. Because we have 2 undead wizard men. We need to determine who's the real one here. Let's be serious about this. We need genuine reactions. I'm sorry. I just think that's funny. I
see that.
Yeah, because you've only grown up ever watching WWE,
Sure.
no WWF, no NWA,
No, I watched
Crockett Promotions.
I watched
You didn't watch Smoky Mountain Wrestling. You didn't watch ECW. Like, you didn't watch the other shit that was going on, and you don't know the history of what happened with wrestling all before that, when it was looked at as a sport, all the way up until the 90s.
But even the most
about this point, the main culture kind of looked at wrestling as like, okay, something's weird here. Let's
Exactly. They didn't come right out and say it the way that McMahon did on that one promo. It's like, we're tired of insulting the fans' intelligence, having the wool pulled over their eyes.
Right.
We think he's basically saying kayfabe is dead in that promo.
Right. But even with the history of old matches in kayfabe, and I have gone back and looked into history of wrestling and stuff like that. So back then,
and back then,
the thing is hold on, is like, no, I never watched wrestling thinking that it was ever real. I always knew wrestling was scripted when I watched wrestling, and I did watch in the Attitude Era, and I did watch some WCW. I like Goldberg and Sting, but
fuck off.
I did. I was 7. I was 8 years old too when I was watching this. Sue me. I was a kid. That was exactly why they did it, because kids loved it. At least,
one would say he was the right age to be watching it. Yes,
but even in ECW, even in like Japan wrestling, which is notoriously stiff, right? Even in those matches where it's like, I'm not saying that those wrestlers go in there and they're not taking shots or doing spots that are extremely dangerous and death matches with lots of blood and very dangerous things. I mean, getting into a ring with New Jack is not a walk in the park in any stretch of the imagination, but it's still scripted and predetermined.
Okay.
It's still, they're playing a role, even if the role is an extension of themselves. And they're not coming out there as completely like Mark Calloway playing the Undertaker. You know, the Undertaker is not who Mark Calloway is. He's a guy from Houston, Texas that likes riding motorcycles. And, but like, the American Badass is much more Mark Calloway than the Mortician Undertaker. But it's still wrestlers playing roles live action. That's the only distinction. LARP isn't always just running around hitting each other with sticks. There's like airsoft LARPs where you can do like war scenarios and stuff, and it's very relatable.
What is more compelling, when everyone in on the act is pretending or trying to showcase like what they're doing is real, or if they're trying to wink everything to the audience? Hey, it's phony, it's bullshit. You know it's bullshit, and we know it's bullshit. That we know that they know that it's bullshit. What's more compelling, when everyone's committed or not? What's funnier in comedy, when everyone is straight-faced and they do the joke, or when everyone is laughing towards the joke because they're all a part of it?
I think you're asking the wrong question.
Am I?
Because I don't think you're wrong in saying that it's compelling if you're going to completely let the cat out of the bag.
Yeah.
I mean, whether you're running a LARP and you, like, if I told everybody the mod that's going to happen, it's like he's going to come out and it's going to be a bad guy and he's an undead warlock that we have to kill. Or if you're like, there's a match that's going to happen, and I mean, the real Undertaker is going to come out and I'm going to be telling you, like, that of course isn't going to be more compelling, right? That's sort of a loaded question. Because, I mean, of course it is, but I mean, with LARP and with wrestling, it's when you have that prescripted part of it and you finally reveal it live as it's happening, and you get people that chance to genuinely react to it. That's the part that's compelling. Of course it is. The loaded question is you're saying what's compelling? Getting that reveal of what's happened, what's being prepared for you, and facing it live, or knowing everything. Like, it's like you pick out a book off a shelf and somebody tells you the entire synopsis of the book and then you read it. It's like, well, you told me Snape kills Dumbledore. So now when that happens, it's a little less like when you turn that page, like, oh fuck, what? Like, so of course it's more compelling when you don't know it, but it's the only comparison I'm saying to wrestling is LARP is it is live action. It is people playing roles and it's engaging. That's the whole point. Don't make LARP a dirty word in your mind.
I'm not making LARP a dirty word. I'm saying it's not wrestling.
Wrestling is LARP.
No, they're not.
Sure it is.
I'm just trying to picture the T-shirt design that I could throw up in a merch shop that says "Wrestling is LARP."
You should put this in a poll and see if people agree with me or
yeah.
It doesn't matter if people agree or not.
Well, it's just different opinions.
Okay, but I'm saying that part doesn't matter. The part that matters is LARPing and wrestling are two very different things because
yes,
wrestling is an audience. Like I said, we're not going in there as LARPers. We're going in there as paying fans to watch a show that they're putting on.
Yes, but LARPers also pay to interact and participate, but also to see what happens. We had rituals at our last event that people wanted to just watch. So we do get audiences, and we do get people wanting to see what happens as they're participating. It is a different medium. Of course, wrestling is different because the audience is seeing the LARP. It's hard to have people sit in stands if we're running through the trees because people aren't in bleachers moving around with us. If we could have that kind of a set, then absolutely we would have people pay for spectation. But it is different. Yes, it's not completely the same, but
wrestling is two people in a ring with a feud that are and people want to watch because they want to see what's going to happen with these two people. Who's going to come out on top? Who's going to be the bad? Who's going to lose? And that's the essence of wrestling. Yes. What your essence is of LARPing, your essence is the creativity. It's basically Dungeons and Dragons put to life.
In some respects, yes.
That's not wrestling.
No, but wrestling is two people in the ring that are role playing and are going to work out.
Why are they role playing? Okay, but why are they role playing?
Story, because there's a story there.
It's storytelling. Yeah,
it's storytelling.
It's a form of storytelling.
Wrestling is storytelling.
Yeah,
100% it is.
And LARP is storytelling. So I'm sorry, Ty. I can totally see what he's getting at.
I'm not saying anything controversial about wrestling. I'm not downplaying the intensity of what wrestling is.
I can
you
see
kind of are. You definitely are. You absolutely are.
I don't think it is. I think it's. I think it's actually it might be one of the keys to get more eyes on pro wrestling in general. Is
bullshit.
Make that to get people who do LARP, and it's like, yeah, okay, this is kind of cool.
Okay, that's called AEW, and it's falling apart.
I'm not saying watch AEW if you're a LARPer. I'm just saying, just come into the world of pro wrestling and see it. I mean, like, even there's monsters. I mean, like, even out there right now, like there's hundreds of hours of content even here on YouTube and that stuff of profiles on all the different, wrestling personas and monsters and stuff from the past and everything. I mean, like, hell, a great creator, Grapple Vision, put out just before Halloween a synopsis of the Great Muda's monster movie that I didn't even know even existed. Like, I mean, and that's Kiji Muto basically playing a Japanese kabuki monster. So yeah, so that is kind of, that's LARP-ish. So,
Okay. So what exactly is LARP-ish about, like, I don't know, Ric Flair versus Harley Race?
Okay, so that's you look at that, and that is a style of pro wrestling that's two warriors going at it. How many times on like Craig? How many times during a LARP weekend or even a LARP day, like you guys do the single day LARPs over at Dark Ascension, right? Yeah. Yep. So during a single day, that's how many times will you guys have during a game one warrior versus another warrior in a duel?
Oh, that'll happen. It's called a clash. I mean, we usually say, like, fight safe. You should be swinging to 50 to 75% of your power, but like,
yeah, I mean, but the instances of it during the day, during a 6-hour period of the game or something like that, it happens once, twice, maybe.
Couple times. Sometimes people get, if we're having a bit of a break between mods, meaning like we're having to change costumes and stuff like that. Sometimes people are just waiting and they just start fighting each other.
Yeah,
just for
fun,
right?
Yeah. So,
But I mean, but with like Ric Flair and Harley Race, it's like, yeah, that's more. I would say it's like it's not so much about.
But it's a Clash of Warriors, right? So
it's a Clash of Warriors, but it's like it's much more just like, you know, Ric Flair is very much Ric Flair. Harley Race was always Harley Race.
Yes.
I mean, like in the ring, they're trying to kill each other, but I mean, backstage, they'd probably still be like, "Ah, good match out there, man. Yeah."
Yeah, but that's backstage stuff. The audience was never supposed to be let in on that.
No, but I mean, what I'm saying is that the act of them in the ring was still something that was predetermined. They worked on it. They were in there working with each other to make that match and that story good. Because those were two.
I mean, it's a neat concept. I'm digging what Craig's putting down. I'm like, okay,
it's a Venn diagram. I'm not saying that wrestling is absolutely no different. What I'm saying is there's similarities here. And wrestling definitely has live action. It's live action role play between
and then
wrestlers.
Going back to the crux of what this argument was you saying that wrestling is more LARP on this Venn diagram, and me saying that wrestling is supposed to be presented as more sports because that's more enthralling.
Can be, depending on context. I think in this context,
well, the context is when you see two people that are wrestling, you want to be selling it as who's going to win this match as to who's going to do cooler moves.
Right.
That's what's wrong with everything in wrestling today. It's let's see the moves as opposed to who's going to win this fight.
See, we're not even necessarily disagreeing, Ty, because you're right. Yeah. It is like when you look at like Bret versus Owen in that cage match, it's not about like how cool can it look. You're actually seeing these guys actually going at it, and it's believable and all that stuff. Yeah. Even though these guys are brothers and they're totally in this together, and they don't hate each other, and they're not in this feud. They actually love each other, but they're making this match look great.
Yeah.
But what I'm talking about, that particular call was the unveiling of the Undertaker coming back. So in that match, we're not talking about believability as much as we're talking about the Undertaker's back. It is more theatrics.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I tell you what, we're going to leave this. Craig, that's a great idea to leave it up to the subscribers and the followers on Twitter and
okay. And then I'm just going to straight up say you can hit me with a smoke at TMLoutan at Twitter or whatever you want to call it, because I don't care what you think.
Well, I
don't care what the poll thinks. I don't care what your opinion thinks. I'm the man with the microphone. These are my thoughts. Y'all ain't going to sway me. This is not a notion of democracy wins. Hey, higher percentage means wrestling really is like this. Wrestling was born as a sport. It was presented as a sport until along the way somewhere they said, let's just make it all bullshit. And that's where we are today, where people don't care about the matches. They don't care about the wrestlers. They just want to see some cool shit. Flip for me. Go on, Young Bucks. Just flip for me, motherfuckers. It's all shit now because of that. And wrestling has never been in a worse state.
I was going to go to my X account or Twitter account at kellennitro and just basically put the question out there: is wrestling a form of LARP? Yes or no? You can go vote on that over on X. And by the time we get together next time, which, by the way, Craig, it'll be your turn to pick the pay-per-view next time. I don't know how TL feels about that, but
I'm fine.
There we go.
I'm going to pick the most campy theatric pay-per-view.
Y'all just want you won't stop. Oh God! You won't stop until I have an aneurysm right here live on this podcast.
That's it. Basically,
I think we had a fantastic discussion, Ty.
It was very exhilarating. Yes.
This was really good, actually.
I think the last thing to say here is the very end of the show. Two druids come to the ring to take the Underfaker away. Salutes Paul Bearer's urn. The casket goes backstage. Okay, so it's discovered by Leslie Nielsen and the other guy. To do a lift lid, only to find that the fake Undertaker has vanished. He's gone. And then the show fades to black, and that's it.
No, and they show a case, and it's closed. And it's like, the case is closed. How'd you do it? Then it closes.
No, that's a dad joke at the end. Yes, I got it. That's kind of Leslie Nielsen's thing was dad jokes. So there we go. So, and now we have to rate the show out of 10. So I'll give mine first now, so we can give TL a chance to gather his thoughts and Fraser a chance for a rating here. You know what? I was thoroughly enjoyed by the majority of the show. The corniness of the main event aside or whatever. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I thought it's a very rewatchable show. There are elements that have aged horribly on it, but I think that the beginning of the show, especially that first hour, it really kicks you in the pants and sets you into high gear going into and through the end of the Intercontinental title match. Like that's a solid first hour of any show that you can get. Like, and the crowd's hot. It's awesome. So I enjoyed myself on this rewatch. It was great. Who wants to go next?
I'll go next. I'll give it a 7 out of 10 also. I
Okay.
think that it would have been lower, but it's higher because of the cage match.
Okay.
That was
Cool.
just a phenomenal.
Yeah, the cage match itself, which is an all-timer as well.
Yeah.
I think if you wanted to do a capsule together of WWF cage matches to show to life forms on another planet or something like that, you definitely include that one for sure.
Oh, not this shit again.
No, we revisited that. All right, TL, what are you giving this show?
I'm giving this one an 8 out of 10
Hey, there we go.
because it has the best cage match of all time. The opener was pretty good. The Intercontinental match is pretty good. The entrance alone by Mabel is worth that Jeff Jarrett match.
I'm gonna go back and rewatch that again. I think I missed that for whatever reason.
So much fun.
Check it out.
It's the reaction that R-Truth wish he could get with this stupid song.
Awesome. Awesome.
What's up?
Yeah, way better than that.
What's up?
Yeah, man, 8 out of 10. And I honestly think this might be the best one that we get of any of the old school WWF ones, because a lot of the ones we watched so far have been complete stinkers.
They have.
And this one is actually decent enough to recommend to people. They're like, main event's a little trash and it goes on way too long, but hey,
that leads to an unnecessary discussion on wrestling expert. Did Fraser leave?
I don't know if he left or he just popped out by accident.
I think he popped out. Well, I hope he comes back.
Yeah.
Nobody kicked him, so.
I still want to continue this argument because it is not LARPing.
Oh, he says his power went out.
Oh,
that sucks.
Well,
Womp.
Who's picking next?
It's Fraser.
We don't get to, man. We don't get Jesse Ventura now.
We don't. Oh, that's another problem. Yeah.
We don't get Alex Jones.
And unfortunately, I'm using StreamYard. I don't have the ability to take phone calls for this thing. Otherwise, I would just be like, "Yeah, Fraser, just phone in and we'll put you through on the."
We'll tell him to plug his computer in and get back on here. We need a proper end. We need a proper ending to this. We can't end just on a downer.
I'll try and talk to him on X or something. I'm not sure what's going on.
What about his phone? You got his phone?
The problem is my phone is the webcam, so I can't really. Here we go. I got X open right now. He says his power went out. Crap. This is like, well, you can access via your phone. If
I'm texting him too. I'm being plug in. We need a proper ending.
Use the X link. There we go. Yes. But yeah, so I tell you what, I'll do the plugs anyway for stuff.
Yeah, do the plugs.
Yeah, tinyurl.com/Nitromaniac TV for all things Nitromaniac TV's Wrestling Unlimited. The channel over the next week, it's going to be a lot of kind of lighter content, i.e. no content, because I'm taking off to shoot some content for Drag Files.
Bye!
In sunny California. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. And he's back.
Wow, that's the Undertaker.
No, God. You ruined it. You ruined it.
All right.
You ruined it.
Before the power kicks out again.
Damn it, Austin. Sorry.
the Al Fraser Rancho there. We're gonna ask the governor, Jesse Ventura, his thoughts of the Undertaker versus Undertaker match from the 1994 SummerSlam.
Well, when I was in Belize back in the 60s, I made sure I was I was sworn to secrecy in what was one of the most secretive CIA scandals of all time, called Operation Tombstone, where we were trying to create the Undertaker multiple times. This was 20 years before the Undertaker even actually made his debut on television, and we were trying to devise an undead soldier, and so we accidentally made Mark Calloway, and that is how he came to the WWF, and he defeated one of our clones that we created from his DNA at this pay-per-view. Little known fact.
And what do you think about this whole LARPing versus sports, Mr. Alex Jones?
Well, I think, these stupid damn globalists trying to tell us that, that live action role play is wrestling. If anybody disagrees with that, they're on my side of things. That's what I'm
Hey, wait a second. Wait a second.
They completely
You
endorse
put Alex
everything.
Jones on my side?
There's no way that LARP is like wrestling, and anyone who agrees is clearly a friend of Alex Jones.
All right, wait a second. Now, wait a second. You do not put Alex Jones on my side of the argument. That is horseshit.
You brought him into this.
Yeah.
To give us a nice, funny ending, not to put him on my end of the. This is
exactly right.
That's where he is.
He's not on my side. I'm
right
not
over your
associated
shoulder,
with
Ty.
Alex Jones in any way, shape, or form, people.
Ty, I'm getting pissed. I'm right over your shoulder right now, buddy. I'm voting on that poll right now.
Right now. Exactly. Well,
I do not in any way, shape, or form endorse Alex Jones. I do not like the man. I do not listen to his shows. He is not on my side.
Ty's a subscriber. I have him on. He's bought my male vitality pills.
Subscriber.
For stronger male vitality. only at Infowars.com.
Oh, hey, whoa! Don't give a real shout out. You can't plug a real
they're not paying for a sponsor.
Oh, no. Son of a bitch, no.
Oh no, what have I done?
Well, I tell you what, you made the Undertaker rest in peace. Oh, hey, yeah, CraigPFraser. Yeah, direct all your hate mail towards him. Yeah, that's exactly right.
I don't want any smoke.
Yeah,
I will bring you the smoke.
Exactly.
Tracy Morgan,
and
I will bring you an entire pack.
Yeah.
King size. You didn't know that, DeMaurier. I got a whole pack of smoke coming your way.
You want to bring me smoke?
I tell you what,
You bring me smoke. Bring smoke.
Oh, De Niro.
I'll throw this out there too. If anybody in the audience has a show that they would like the three of us to take a look at, perhaps in the new year, because we know that 2024 is coming and that stuff, email us at nitromaniactv@gmail.com. Basically, the only ground rules that I have for it is you got to let us know what the show is and what streaming service it's on, because I'm the one that seeks out the show and gives it to these guys so they can watch it. So got to find the source.
And Mr. Craig, you are the next selector of the next pay-per-view.
Yes, it will be Craig's turn on the wheel.
We're not putting you on the spot as of right now, but just wondering if you're leaning towards anything. Are we talking badass Undertaker, or what vibe are you thinking about right now?
I don't know. Maybe I go back to late 90s. Maybe find something in there. Maybe we do a WrestleMania.
Oh, we have not done a WrestleMania yet under this format.
Maybe do WrestleMania.
I do have all the WrestleManias, so that's a very easy get to do. So
I'm gonna pick No Way Out 2006.
It's an obscure.
I don't even know what that one is. I have no idea.
Don't look it up. Who cares?
I'm doing it.
No Way Out.
What's the number one? Oh, Randy Orton is in there. Okay. What is the number one match? That's Kurt Angle and The Undertaker.
Oh, hey, there we go.
I thought we had a real. What was our deal? We can only go up to a certain year. What was the year?
Yeah, our limit. We have the 10-year limit basically. So anything up to this month in 2013. So I guess the latest we could go up to is Survivor Series 2013.
That was our limit? Oh, wow.
That's our limit, yeah.
I swear, I thought our limit was when WWF became E. I thought that was our cutoff.
No. Because we reworked it because we wanted to work in all the 2000s pay-per-views.
I see.
In there. Yeah.
Let's do
Even though we haven't
WrestleMania
collected
20.
anything from it. Yeah.
Do what?
WrestleMania 20. No, nothing controversial about that pay-per-view.
I will not touch that pay-per-view. That goes with Alex Jones on the sides of the garbage can where they belong.
I mean, if you really want to, I have nothing nice to say about that main event. No, that's about it.
Don't encourage him.
No, I just
Don't encourage him.
We won't go
that's
there.
also that's gonna be a pain in the butt to import too. So you guys can take a look.
That's a very good.
That's because it's
I'll take
across
a-
free discs. I have to rip free discs and put them in. And that's all.
Oh, okay, no worries.
Yes, folks, we do bootleg just a little bit on the channel.
No, we don't. I do not endorse bootlegging at all. You must pay for everything you've ever watched,
That's right.
ever, in some way, shape, or form, be it a physical disc or whatever you got to do.
That's right.
What?
Exactly.
I find
You
it
saw
ironic that you're talking about advocating for buying and not pirating when you're talking like an Italian mobster.
Hey, hey,
Hi.
what are you talking
Hey,
about? We
gabagool.
do everything by the book, all right?
You want to get something for free? You want to cut the corners? You don't do that.
Nah,
No.
nah. That's it. So,
That was a good. I don't know who that was, but that was good.
that
Pay
was
your
good.
Pay your taxes.
That's Joe Pesci, I think.
Pay your taxes. No, this is Joe Pesci.
That's Joe
Shove it up
Hey!
there.
Wow!
The stupid fuck. What he's saying to me?
You know,
Go get
you're
your
a
fucking
funny
tank
dude.
Yes.
You're
So,
a really funny guy. You know. That?
well, I think on that we could probably leave it for
no,
tonight.
I set him up to do the Pesci thing.
What's the Pesci thing?
I call him a funny guy.
funny, haha, funny, like Rita Runda, funny, or like
No.
funny. Or,
Not
like
the
I make
Family
you laugh.
Guy
Funny.
version.
I can't remember the line from Goodfellas.
Yeah, I can.
What do you mean? Like I'm a clown? Do I amuse
I'm
you?
a clown.
I
Do
fucking
I
amuse
amuse
you?
you?
Do I amuse you?
How the fuck am I funny? Huh? How am I funny, Henry?
Could you imagine if we got Casino, Joe Pesci, and Home Alone? How much better that movie would be?
Well, if we're doing Casino, then I'm doing Don Rickles.
I love Don Rickles. Love Don
There's
Rickles.
no booing.
There's no booing.
There's
Yeah.
no point.
There's a roast.
There's no voting. There's no voting.
Mr. President, it's an honor to be here for this kind of money.
Wait. I know we
Kevin
gotta go.
McAllister, you funny fuck. What you doing?
Was that Brian Hall?
No, it was
Oh,
not.
Rose.
He just wakes up in the middle of the night.
Wait,
Oh,
I know we gotta go. We gotta wrap this up.
We do.
However, I
Yes.
would be remiss if I didn't ask Mr. CraigPFraser.
Yes.
Mr. Nitro does not know. Well, I told him the story, but he doesn't know that the Joker voice that you are capable of doing.
Yeah, I heard the story. We to set the scene here. Ty and I are riding out to the Heritage Classic, the big outdoor game here in the city about a week ago or so, and he tells me about this what was it, like a student project he did?
It
or
was the
something like that? He
very
had to
first
do,
student project that was done in our course that we took together in college.
Right,
And I
okay.
didn't even know him back then. But in this course, they had to like work in, I think it was a word or a topic, and plug it into a piece of media. And they chose The Dark Knight. And he did the voice of the Joker to the point that we couldn't fathom and understand how they got him to change the words.
Okay.
Now, he had a friend that we call Vancouver Aaron, was doing the voice of Batman, and that was subbed in, and we're like, oh, okay, they're just dubbing over the voice. But wait a second, why is the Joker's real? Why is he saying things? And we couldn't figure out why it was so perfect, and we found out that he did the voice of the Joker, and from that point on, we was friends. Because I'm like, hey, this guy is dope as shit.
Yeah, and I even, to your friend, I remember Gopal, I had to do like a little message to him.
You remember that?
Yeah.
Yo, you remembered his name too?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Because I had to send him I remember that because I remember the project was it was like any kind of project you could do, any kind of medium or media, what you ever wanted to do about citing sources. It was like,
okay. So it's teaching you guys how to cite sources and stuff.
So
like that. Okay.
and so
Batman is played by Aaron, our friend, who was saying like you you didn't set your sources properly, and I'm basically playing the Joker, but I'm doing the lines where I'm just like, I was like, don't do MLA style. You're not. Don't be like one of them. You see, to them, you're a proper sorcerer, like me. It's like right now they need you, but when they don't, they'll cast you out like a leper.
See, it's spot on perfect, but you have to imagine we're showing this on our screen in the classroom, the scene in the Dark Knight where he's being interrogated, the Joker and Batman.
Yeah.
And so Craig is lip syncing over what the Joker is saying with his perfect voice. So that's why we were fooled into thinking, wait a second, how the hell did they get the Joker to say that?
Yeah.
Did they computerize it? Like, what did they do? Because Aaron was definitely Aaron. We could tell that was Aaron's voice over Batman when Batman was doing his lines. They were like, that's funny. But then the that's funny turned into what the fuck is going on when the Joker appeared on screen, and it's Craig's voice doing the Joker voice saying all that shit about citing sources.
Yeah, he said he's like instead of the line of what does he say when he goes like you're what does he say, like you're garbage that kills for money. No, it's not that one. It's the one where the Joker laughs. Yeah. And then instead of going, he's like, "What would I do without you?" You know,
I don't want to kill you.
Yeah.
That's do without you.
That's the line. That's the line. He's like, "Why do you want to kill me?" And so I think Aaron's line was changed too. He's like, "Why did you want to falsify my paper with bad sources or something like that?" And I do the loud. I do. I was like, sources. I don't want to cite your sources.
Yes.
What would I do? I was like, what would I do without you? Go back to using Google for my sources. No.
Wow.
That's awesome. That's great stuff.
That just took me all the way back to those first days of college, man.
Yeah,
that's amazing. I can't believe you remembered the message you had to do for my friend on the phone. That's crazy.
That's awesome.
I remember that because he was like his birthday or something. And yeah, I remember. I got good memory. So
you have incredible memory because, like, I'm not even friends with that dude anymore, and you remembered his fucking name. Like, that's insane.
That's sick.
But he had to he liked Iron Man or something. I had to like do like these different superheroes in it.
This is what it was. I can tell you right now because I had this on my phone until I had to get a new phone at some point. You did the line of the Joker saying, basically the terrorist note on the news for everybody. He's like, until you move your mask, someone's going to die every hour on the hour or whatever. But he said, what Craig did was he said he made the threat towards Iron Man instead of Batman.
Yeah, Iron Man. I was like, if Iron Man doesn't reveal himself, who he actually is, people will die. And of course, you compound that because I have natural vocal fry in my voice to doing, the Bane voice, which is more like,
yes.
Darkness is your ally. It's like, you merely adopted the dark. I was born in it. I never saw the light until I was already a man. By then it was all the blinding.
He grabs him.
Love it.
I'm Razan's Reckoning. He's standing on the tank and he's like, do you accept this man's resignation?
Oh, man. Well, I can't think of anything else. I think we've hit on everything tonight.
I think this is the greatest episode we've ever done.
Oh, this is awesome. This is great. So, yeah, folks, if you're tuning in late and that stuff, go back to the beginning. Check out the first hour or two of the podcast and that stuff. We will have a audio version of this available for the SoundCloud here a little bit later on, so everybody can take it with them wherever they're going and that stuff. I know I'm definitely taking a copy of this down to California with me. I'm just gonna be laughing in my airplane seat in first class the entire time. Everybody's just, what's wrong with this dude? I'll be like, it's funny. What can I say? It's all good. So, but anyways, for CraigPFraser, for Mr. TL, I'm Kellen Nitro. We'll see you next time here. It will be Craig's turn to pick the pay-per-view. And so we'll see you in a few weeks here on Nitro's Take Live, Classics Nitro's Take Live, WWF Summerslam 1994 in opinion and review. Actually, I will see you guys in a couple of weeks' time at post Full Gear. We have one of our contributors, Morehouse, is going down to Los Angeles, California, and he has tickets to the Kia Forum for Full Gear. So he will be in person. He'll come back and hit us up after the show is over that night. So stay tuned. That will be, I think, November 19th or 20th or something like that, right here on the channel. And we'll check that out then. So, ladies and gentlemen, later days, happy wrestling watching. Do take care. And yes, please check the wattage in your urns. We'll see.